Alright, hopefully they fixed it. Then we're lagging. Hype. Yeah, we're back. Hoping it. Yeah, this looks like we get a little bit better connection now. Man, ever since the last Windows update, my internet's just been wacky. Yeah, this is the other thing I need to do. Well, actually, no, I don't. Never mind. Alright. See what's going on Reddit. So close to patch notes, indeed. She-Hulk. That movie looks kind of bad. Kind of bad, actually. Patch notes confirmed after the stream. Yep, yep. I actually just did this. It's a good tip, actually. You guys have a lot of like stash tabs in standard. Put them all in the same folder. Or stash tabs in league for when they go to standard, so they're all like in a folder, not mixed with all the other shit. Pretty good tip there, actually. Yeah, Nico, I've tried that. I actually am like a network engineer for my actual job, so yeah, I'm okay at that kind of stuff. It's just the shitty Wi-Fi connection, is all it is. I should just run a fucking cable across my house and not be on Wi-Fi anymore, but probably anyway. Cleave should generate rage. Why do people like Cleave so much? I don't understand. What is the point of this guy's post? I guess he just, I don't know, I guess he's just excited and wants to talk about something. This is like the most boring way to talk about PoE though. Talk about like, I don't know, well, what's he want to talk about? Following an ad revenue or something? Alright, here we go. This is what I was looking for. Yeah, I know. That's what I need to do. Just get a super long Ethernet cable. That would be the play. Or I could just move my modem, but I don't know. It's usually not an issue. It's really just, it's been great since the last Windows update. The last Windows update, like my internet's just been really bad. So I don't know. But yeah, I'm starting to think about some of that stuff, but it seems to be going okay now. I just changed out the Wi-Fi adapter, and seems to be fine now. So, all right. Here's our bingo card. 3 or more unique jewels buff. Well, yeah, that's for sure. Let me make it bigger. Revealed item brings back 2.5 era ball sparked playstyle. I don't even know what that means, but disfavor buffed, still bad. Popular build broken by chains, that's already happened. Corrupting fever is like super dead. Let me fix my chair a little bit here. Scuffing shit for no reason. Yeah, I don't know, man. I can't figure out like what else it might have been. But the update definitely had a negative impact, but it's okay. I think we'll be okay for the reveal here. Excited though, kind of. I'm excited and nervous. I don't know, man. Alright, we're gonna pump up the volume over here once we start. Damn, music's a little bit loud. Down a little bit. Yeah, it should be fine. Item grants level 40 skill. That's not gonna happen. Unless it's like a, I don't know, whirling blades or something. Revealed item emergency nerfed due to timeless jewel interaction. That doesn't even... Who made this? That doesn't make sense. It's not even like... This isn't even like grammatically correct. Revealed item emergency nerfed due to timeless jewel interaction. I mean, emergency nerf? Is Lola excited for the announcement? Yeah, kind of. She was just like laying out in the sun in the other room. Chilling. Last time I saw her. Oh, actually, she's right next to me now. Starforge buff, still bad. I think these two are very likely. Niche interaction ruined by major buff. I don't know, ruined by major buff. Ruined by major change, I would say it's probably true. Replica unique buffed. Yeah, I don't know about that. I was wondering about that too, man. I was like, what if they buffed like Replica Last Resort Nailed Fists for accuracy stacker? I was like, that'd be nuts. I'm actually really curious to see if they're gonna buff something like Obscurantis or Hinocorus Sight or something like that, since they're buffing some underutilized uniques. But I don't know, that would be a little bit weird if they did that. Here's Lola. Here's Lola. Unique amulet games, gem levels. These are kind of boring. Rampage item change. Not the best bingo card there. The free space is perfect. Tantrum on PoE subreddit, yeah. I don't know. There's like this like obvious counterculture thing that happens. Like, I don't know. To be honest, like Reddit had like for the manifesto, Reddit had the right to be kind of outraged. I was too. So I wasn't really like, you know, granted everyone's like super dramatic about it, but you know, and they probably shouldn't be. But at the same time, like GGG makes some pretty fucking sus changes sometimes. But I don't know. It's like everybody gets outraged and then everyone catches on to like, hey, I'm gonna do the thing to make fun of the thing everybody else is doing. Like there's some kind of like next level genius or something. But really they're just like, oh, you're doing X, I'm gonna do Y. And they act like that's like the cool thing to do. Because everyone starts freaking out about the changes, then like there's like a slightly smaller group of people that start acting like the changes are no big deal and making fun of people for like, you know, freaking out about the changes because they think they're like being cool, you know? Not that they're not right though. A lot of people do freak out. Discord server gets so elitist about it. What Discord server? I'm outraged by the people outraged at the people outraged by the changes. Exactly, Benzer. It's just like, you know. It's not exactly hard to do, right? How long are we? Last minute theory. I like this guy's picture for Lake of Calandra. He just took a mirror and like stretched it out and put it put it flat. This chest is like pretty okay. Nothing special though. Yeah, can we get a buff to faster casting support? That would be, I don't know, that would be kind of good. The official PoE one. Oh, I didn't even know there was an official PoE Discord. This guy looks like he uses the same thumbnail creator that I do. Adobe Express, dog. Problem is faster casting is balanced around Spellico. Yeah, right. Spellico gives more casting, right? And faster casting just gives increased, right? Uniques are mirrored versions of the originals. Which developer said this when? And when? Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it is. Luckiest drop from Strongbox this league. It's gonna be an apothecary. It's diviners. This guy's taking forever to kill stuff. Is that Toxic Rain? Oh, Two Brother Stash. Okay. Cool little 10x right there. It's pretty decent. Pretty decent. Why does GGG tag have a subtle difference in color? Who the fuck cares, man? Dude, this is why when I go on Reddit, it just makes me like fucking hate people. People make the dumbest posts about like the most like who gives a shit topics. Like, and look at this. Fucking 64 comments on this. I can't even see it. A subtle difference in color here. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's a meme. Maybe it's a meme. I don't know. I hope it's a meme. It's probably not though. I don't have friends. I got PoE family. Nice. Any English YouTube restreams of the reveal? We'll see, we'll see. same thing with like usually the Reddit is plagued with like these fucking unique item idea posts that just look like super troll, and somebody just made some like really stupid joke unique item, and it's like, LOL, isn't this funny? Let me see if I can find one. And it's like, yeah, dude. It probably took you a fucking hour to do that. See if I can find one. Usually they're flooded in the Reddit. Maybe they finally like started blocking them. It's like a lot of posts since yesterday. Or since the last time I looked at this. Well, looks like I can't find one. Kalandra speculation though. Maybe they moved them all. I saw some ideas. Somebody actually posted a thread that was like, can you guys put a special tag on these unique item idea posts so I can block them basically? And it got like a lot of attention. Yeah, one thing I didn't even think about was, you know that new card that's out for the double corrupted mage blood? I didn't even think about the rules for the flasks and how that's gonna be a total meme. One flask with mage blood reflects God tier. Alright. 32 minutes. Ooh. We don't have very many homies hanging out. Probably because my internet connection is trolling everybody and everyone's like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna have the live stream get interrupted. Oh wait, my thing's just not working. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, we got homies hanging out. What's up, you guys ready? Everybody ready? Let's see if we can find anything cool on Reddit. Comes Lola. Lola's ready. Lola's ready. Yeah, I saw Palstron made a post about this. The lightning warp thing. I knew he would. I was like, damn, that looks good for lightning warp. The new bronze lith. Lithe. How do you say that word actually? Lithe? Lith? It's a little bigger, it might be kind of small for you guys. There we go, there we go. 29 minutes, guys. Are we gonna be disappointed? Or are we gonna be happy? Are we gonna be giga sad or are we gonna be excited? I'm a little worried myself. Giga happy? I haven't seen Charlie in a bit either. Yeah, Charlie, I don't know. Charlie might have started a new job or something. He was looking for jobs. Last time I checked, he probably started a new job or something. Leave, probably. Yeah, I don't know. Leave. Lithe. I don't know. We'll call it Bronze Liddy. Bronze Liddy. Right? Litty. Bronze Liddy. That's what it is. Bronze Litty. Man, I was hoping there'd be some more bingo cards on Reddit. Not many bingo cards. Thought he said he was waiting till after League or something. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Last I heard, he said he was, you know, going on interviews and stuff. So I don't know. Hopefully it didn't just disappear. Patch notes confirmed after stream. What did Beck say? Flashback here. What the hell is going on here? 12 hours to go. Patch notes confirmed. Yeah. No surprise there. No surprise there. Grim Sorrow. This was an interesting change. Instant Sunder showcase. I don't really watch that. Grim Sauropog. It's kind of weird when uniques can't even do what they're supposed to do. You're gonna start cold BV? League start? I played BB, like I leveled with BB before, it's not too bad. I'm just curious how it does like in red maps. It's like the test of every League start build. It's fine for a while, but how does it feel in red maps? Poisonous concoction into cold BB. Yeah, okay. Let's say. I know somebody was talking about starting BB. I don't know if it was Toucan or not. I don't remember who it was. Somebody was talking about maybe starting BB build though. We have 2 missing in Mexico. Have a week to find them. Yeah, we haven't heard from Emma or the homie Charlie in a while. So this was interesting. Not that anybody really gives a shit about Bay Glass, but Rise and Doogie are gone, and so is Octavian. I don't really give a shit that Octavian's gone. He just seemed like, I don't know. He's like a smart guy, but he like, I don't know. He always came off as like thinking he was smarter than he was. Like his opinion of how smart he was higher than anybody else. Anybody else's opinion. It's a little pompous as well. Plus that one time he pissed me off when I came into his chat all excited about the new league, and he's like, why are you asking me about the new league? I'm just a guy that plays the game. And I'm like, yeah, because you're a fucking PoE streamer and I came into your chat to talk about PoE, you dick. He wasn't really that weird. He wasn't like rude about it, but it was just like, his answer was so fucking strange. Pulled iron points into void batteries. Yeah, I can't decide. I can't decide if I want to do like a juiced map setup on League Start. But with my plan right now, I'd have to level a second character. It'd be like the Magic Finder. Just get an early Headhunter and start doing juiced maps. Could be cool. They made a 3.18 patch notes just to advertise 3.19. What are you talking about? That's just the link to the old patch notes. What are you talking about? I'm not sure what you mean, too. Tukin. Lake of Calandra. I don't even know what this is about. Yeah, I know. Why are you asking me about a game I play religiously on stream and have lots of knowledge in? Yeah, it was really weird. Like, it was like right before League launch, and I'm like, hey man, what do you think about this for League launch? Because I just got off of work after working like all fucking day, you know, and I just want to go on that PO stream and talk to the guy that does it for a living about the game, right? And he gives me this response like, I don't know why you're asking my opinion, dude. I'm just a guy that plays the game. I'm like, maybe I just got off of work, you motherfucker, and I want to talk about PoE with somebody because I'm excited about it. And he gives me this like, I don't know why you're asking me response. I'm like, are you that fucking like daft? You're a goddamn PoE streamer. You wonder why I'm asking you about PoE? It was just kind of off-putting. I was like, are you that like unaware? What was this? 3 points. Oh, this is, yeah, they always do this with the patch. They this is mainly for the supporter packs because the supporter packs will be available right after the stream. That's why they always have a patch like right before the stream announcement or the new 3 point whatever announcement. Yeah, that was my most memorable interaction with Octavian. And I was like, this guy's just clueless. He's a smart guy though. I used to watch him stream a lot. But that one interaction kind of put me off. I was like, this guy's clueless. It's like he was trying to be like humble in the most like arrogant way. It was a really odd mixture. Yeah, they always do that too. I want to find some bingo cards, man. I only found one bingo card. And it wasn't even that good. Anybody else get some bingo cards? How much time I got left here? 20 minutes, guys. 20 minutes. I'll mute the music and I'll like turn the volume up on here once we start. It'll be poggers. It'll be litty. It'll be bronze litty. Bait Master. Hi, I'm Swiss. I don't know what you're talking about, dude. The announcement starts in 20 minutes and we're streaming the announcement. I'm not exactly sure what you mean. So many dead builds now that recombos are going. You got the drop set up? Yeah, it should be active. It should be active for you guys. I set it up a while ago. But I just checked and, I mean, my PoE account wasn't connected. I think I got logged out. But every stream that is streaming Path of Exile will have drops enabled via Twitch. So all you have to do is make sure yours is connected. So you should have drops. You don't have it in your description? Well, everybody has it. I mean, I could add it in the description, but everybody has it. Anyway, loot from 64 Uber Mavens. This guy just made a list of things he got from farming. Cheesecake, what's up, dude? Excited for Boat League reveal. I know, me too. It's soon. We got the trickster rework coming. We got the what else do we got? I don't know. Just all the changes. Bunch of new skills coming out. The league mechanic. I'd state it like everybody else. Panzer. Like, I got it, man. It's okay. Let's just talk about the expansion and I don't know, being excited for the new expansion. Let's go into level to try staying awake. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they just do that like I was telling about earlier. They do that for the supporter packs for the store, the in-game store or whatever, because they'll release all the new supporter packs, which we'll also see as well, which would be kind of cool, I guess. I guess you can craft modifiers under uniques. That's like one of the theories is. That's what one of the theories is. Imagine rare flasks. That would be cool. They usually have some kind of power creep where something gets stronger, right? Where there'll be like a new mechanic. Like, what did we get in the past? We got we got Scourged items have the new Scourged stuff. I can't remember. There's been like where they've added things. We got the implicit modifiers on other stuff. The Eldritch implicits. Anyway, yeah. I just hope that we get, like, not a nerf to Lightning Strike. Oh god. What's this thing doing? Okay, this is like the first time it buffered in a while. Hopefully it doesn't do that. Just downgrade my quality? There we go. Sure it doesn't happen during the launch. Hold on a second. New patch to download if you all haven't done it already? Yeah, I'll do it afterwards. Somebody had a nice explanation for power creep, perhaps for rares. It's time for you to get some love. Yeah, I'm just worried that, like, I don't know. I'm worried endgame is gonna be bad. I'm worried the endgame stuff isn't gonna be as good. Soccer walls set buffed? Yeah, that'd be cool. I can't see why they wouldn't do that one. That would be a good one. I want to bring back the twisters. Yeah. I'm just hoping for, I don't know, either some new interesting skills for melee or no lightning strike nerf. Although, I don't know, man. I don't know. I also hope map clearing will be fun. Yeah, we'll see. I'm almost more nervous and excited about the patch notes afterwards than the actual reveal. Cause I don't know. Yeah, I think you're out of luck on both of those ends. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. "15 minutes. They break path to math. I winter monitor. I'll be sad. Yeah, I don't think they will. It's been around for a while. I honestly don't think they're gonna nerf too many more things. Except I'm still worried about Lightning Strike, Nightblade. If they do both, it's gonna be bad. Buffering. Is it because of build nerfs or not fun mechanics? Yeah, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Just hoping Trickster rework and the actual league itself will counterbalance the pain of patch notes manifesto. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not too interested in playing Trickster, but I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Lack of recomms. Getting some slight buffering here. I think it's gonna be fine though. What's up, Lenendorf? How you doing, man? Just getting ready. Just getting ready. I'm gonna go close Reddit. That's the new patch notes. Eagerly anticipating this. I mean, the reveal is gonna be cool. I'm more nervous about the patch notes afterwards, because they should release the patch notes right on the back end, which we'll watch the reveal. Then I'll probably start going through the patch notes afterwards too. I'm not gonna stick around for the full Q&A. I don't think with what's his name. Just for sake of time. Oh no, maybe we will. Gotta read the rage in real time. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it's not. We'll see. Also curious about the itemization they hinted at. Yeah. I don't know. Should we watch the Q&A? You guys want to watch the Q&A after? You guys want to go straight into patch notes? If we watch the Q&A, I kind of like watching the Q&A because usually there's like more detailed information Chris gives about, like, you know, some little secret stuff. I usually do watch the Q&A because Chris will go into detail about like specific stuff about the league mechanic that you probably wouldn't be able to find out until league launches. But I really want to read the patch notes. I don't know. Play it by ear. I just have a lot of shit to do because I'm gonna put out 2 videos today. One's just gonna be an upload of the live stream, and then the other one's gonna be like a TLDR about the patch notes, and then I gotta work on updating the build guides or the build recommendations. Yeah, I'll watch the Q&A at some point regardless. Yeah, that's usually like that's what I'll do like when I go to bed tonight or something. Is I'll rewatch the Q&A, make sure I have everything. We'll see what it's like. See how I'm feeling. See how we're all feeling when we get there. Chris is a good speaker for his game. Yeah. I usually like to watch it, but I really want to look at the patch notes mainly for Lightning Strike Nightblade. We'll see though. We'll see. Nervous. Oh, the new patch is out, right? Let me make sure everything's set up. Because I think the website's back up, right? Yeah. I was gonna double check on the drops, but we'll do it now. Alright. One second. stuff I gotta do here. Buffering going on. Should be fine though. I think it's just because I'm like downloading some stuff from the screen. Alright. Seven minutes. There we go. Oh shit. Oh, they're gonna do another Exilecon. Oh shit, Exilecon 2. This is actually something I would want to go to, man. This is the other announcement they were gonna do. That's awesome. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, just the time here. Hold on. Let me. Hold on.
We have 0 content. Yes, so it's gonna be great.
Sorry, guys. There we go. I turned the music off. I'm just making sure drops should be on, but I'm double checking on drops here.
Oh, this is not the menagerie.
Hi everyone, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games. And we're really proud to finally reveal Path of Exile 4.0. Well, that feels amazing. So right away,
Chris.
as Jonathan plays through the graveyard, you'll notice the massive improvements we've made to the Path of Exile engine.
Oh, listen to Chris, man, he's all...
It even gives you a single keybind you could use to cast all of your auras with one click. Come on. For a year, we've had a few
Alright, we are now
working
for
on a
sure
bit of an
connected.
experimental skunkworks project at the studio. Let's watch a video about it.
So mobile games are kind of bullshit, right?
So this is what it looks like.
There, it turned it up.
One of the major benefits of this project was the tech we developed.
So,
Mobile
you may have
Fall
looked
Guy.
in your swag bag and found a box with some cards in it. At Exilecon, we really wanted players to interact with our staff. If you can get far enough in maps to kill the Guardians, you'll be able to collect fragments required to challenge the Shaper. Of course, that's me.
It's a Blood Echo X farm to 6 years. Yeah. No, you don't have to do Act 10. You can go into Act 9.
That was wild. Path of
I
Exile
play it?
2.
When can I play it? I want to play
Like
it.
an hour, dude. Chill.
But that's like 60 minutes away.
True. Too long. Well, you did a good job. I think we were all impressed you didn't die. We were kind of hoping that you would.
Right.
But at least maybe I can be the fall guy and show people truly how difficult the content is as it mercilessly defeats me.
Right. At low levels, I think it's a lot more acceptable because you're whoa, there you go. Haha, awesome.
Hey.
We got you.
Here it comes. Any sec now. What the hell?
You have to play through in the campaign you selected. Even if it kills you constantly.
Not constantly, just 3 times. Okay, I was really hoping not to die.
Any other insights you'd like to share? No, yep, that was behind.
Yeah. Oh, that was so close, so close.
A Riker plan, huh?
My mind is blown. It's way more than I expected. I feel like
Good doogie, man. You got a haircut.
Grasping it, and a mobile game.
Game is an authentic and true experience of me not turning my auras on. I'm going to do it in the combat here. Oh, well, yep, no, this is fine. This is fine.
I remember when they were talking about PoE Mobile, man, they said their phones were getting really hot in their hands.
We're like, it's mobile.
With more than 2 stats, like you have attack, you have defense for some games. We have a lot more going on there, and I respect that. So.
Was that even dunking? That was an extremely light dunk.
People would doubt my hardcore ability all the time, but trust me, it's there.
Exactly.
No. And I don't like what's happening now.
Get out of here!
Battle.
I remember the first time that we got a skeleton on screen where you walked over and clicked on him and you hit him and he fell over. It was like, oh, okay, this is going to be something.
Yeah.
We're here for the grand
2 minutes,
final
guys. 2 minutes.
Exilecon race. This has been a long series of events leading up to this. We've had 4
Havoc,
separate qualifiers,
the
plenty
legend.
of epic moments.
Well, it's great to have all of you here. I am in awe of your abilities. Thank you so much for being good at my game. I appreciate it. Would you please take your seats at the pods?
And we've got the first players killing Hillock, obviously picking up all these items. It's very valuable. Havoc, again, is the first person to get into the Warden's quarters.
We have a breaking announcement.
So we're going to restart the race, and I'm sorry, we screwed up.
We are up once again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Waggle!
This is the mid-middle version? I think so, yeah. Waggle died to Hillock?
You might also recognize the Havoc's already in the second zone.
When did that happen?
Where RNG does come into play, I'll let it be.
Oh! What?
You had a tabula?
What? Is that a tabula rasa for Titan Killer? And having exactly that experience here, only just managing to slip between the 2 ice shots that would have ended his life.
These gaps are getting huge. Something, nope. Just.
Oh, he doesn't even look at him. Look at it. He didn't even look him in the eyes.
Tide 23 takes it.
Congratulations to Tide 23 for a just monstrous display, proving beyond all shadows of a doubt that he is a phenomenal racer.
Don't drop it. If you're here in person, we have the after party in a few hours. It's running from 8 o'clock till 11 p.m.
Oh,
I will
God.
still be the Shaper. Come and kill me. Get some stuff signed. I'll be there for 3 hours.
It's just,
It'll be
it's
amazing.
not a nerd fest. It's not a nerd convention until you get a guy in a trench coat dancing.
Thanks.
Cringe.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So they got to be making Exilecon 2 then. Now playing Remembering. Oh, here we go though.
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games. Thanks for joining us today as we reveal Path of Exile's next expansion, Lake of Calandra, which launches on PC and Mac on August 19th, and on Xbox and PlayStation on August 24th. Twitch drops are enabled for today's livestream, so make sure you follow the instructions below to link your account and earn your Wrangler wings. Here's what you can expect from today's livestream. First, we'll debut the trailer for the Lake of Calandra expansion, and then dive into its Challenge League. We'll discuss the further improvements we're making to Path of Exile's endgame in this release. There's a slew of new unique items for us to cover, and also a broad power boost to many different uniques. We've got a selection of new skill and support gems to reveal, and are excited to unveil our plans for revamping 3 past leagues. Then we'll cover more details about game balance before revealing this league's new supporter packs and what's going to happen in the lead up to launch next week. Our live stream ends with a Q&A session hosted by ZiggyD, where you can ask me your questions in Twitch chat. Then we'll post the full patch notes for you to check out. But before we show you the trailer for Lake of Calandra, I wanted to talk to you about Exilecon. Back in 2019, we were ready to announce Path of Exile 2 and Path of Exile Mobile, and we wanted to do it with a bang. We filled a venue with thousands of Path of Exile fans from around the world and ran our first Exilecon convention. It was an amazing experience, full of fans interacting with developers, and everyone who attended can vouch for the amazing energy at the event. Announcing Path of Exile 2 on that stage was one of the highlights of my life. Since then, we've been hard at work on Path of Exile 2. Now that we are getting close to release, we will finally be ready to announce the date that the closed beta starts at Exilecon 2023.
Oh shit!
We're holding Exilecon 2023 in Auckland, New Zealand, on the weekend of the 29th and 30th of July 2023.
Did I go to that?
In addition to the beta start date, we'll also be announcing everything there is to know about new game systems, character classes, items, and so on. Attendees will be able to play Path of Exile 2 and Path of Exile Mobile, see all the presentations live, meet our development team, hang out with their favorite streamers, and much more. The first wave of tickets will go on sale in 2 weeks. We'll make a news post tomorrow with more information so that you have time to determine if you're able to attend before the tickets go on sale. We are so excited to finally talk about what we've been working on, and to let some of you experience the next generation of action RPGs. In the meantime, we have a strong lineup of Path of Exile 1 expansions underway, and today we're proud to unveil Path of Exile Lake of Calandra, which launches next week.
Here we go. Here we go. Oh shit.
Exile, you have wandered far to arrive at the shores of my lake.
Okay.
A hidden realm I have overseen for longer than time itself.
Okay.
These waters harbor deadly secrets.
Dude, if you could die falling into the water, I'm gonna be pissed. I don't want to deal with that. Oh shit. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Hopefully this doesn't happen too often. 1 second. There we go.
Rayclast is reflected here. Reassemble it as you see fit. But the mirror distorts reality.
So you design?
Beware the image that strikes back.
You design the level. Okay. You build the map, yeah. Oh, what the hell is that? 4 new gems. 14 new unique items. Trickster Ascendancy rework. Blade Vortex. Arch Nemesis rework. Oh, Beyond rework. Oh god.
Calls you, Exile.
Oh man, I don't know if I like that.
Will you endure?
I don't know if I like that.
Or will you drown?
Is it gonna be good? Trickster as elusive. Oh man, I'm nervous. The Beyond rework and the Arch Nemesis rework. I mean, I'm kind of excited about Arch Nemesis rework. Maybe it's gonna be not shit, but...
In the Calandra Challenge League, you will travel to the mirrored lake that granted Calandra her powers of reflection. We want you to experience the story for yourself, so I'll avoid spoiling the details here. When you get to explore the league next week, you'll find out more about Calandra and her motivations.
I'm scared now, I'm also scared.
Your experience with Calandra so far is probably of her coveted mirror, which duplicates items by reflecting them. The lake itself has the power to reflect entire encounters from elsewhere in Rayclast. As you explore the lake, these reflections emerge from its mirrored surface.
Okay.
Sometimes these reflections are encounters with hordes of monsters. And sometimes you'll encounter extremely powerful foes, reflected from elsewhere in Rayclast.
So bosses.
Often, reflections involve League content, such as this encounter with a Harbinger boss.
Okay. So I could duplicate them.
As you play through the league, you'll occasionally encounter a set of columns protruding from the ground, with a mirrored tablet on top. This tablet invites you to construct a custom set of encounters at the Lake of Calandra, offering a series of different reflections to place in whatever layout you wish. Each of these reflections represents an encounter that you must defeat when you next travel to the lake.
Okay, so heroes can haunt me more, right?
Once you have assigned a reflection to every location on your mirror tablet, which will take a few areas, you can open a portal to the Lake of Calandra itself.
So it breaks the gameplay loop.
There you will get to experience these reflections of Raycast as Calandra manifests each encounter you have chosen.
So you're not going to do this in the campaign at all?
But as you push farther out onto the lake-shrouded waters, you will find each encounter to be more difficult, but more rewarding. This difficulty value counts up by 1 for each location away from the entrance the encounter is.
Okay.
Players wanting the best rewards will try to engineer tablets that have long, windy strings of encounters, reaching very high difficulty values by the end. To do this, there are occasional options that can be chosen which allow you to move and swap the entrance, reflections, and water tiles on the tablet.
Okay. Okay.
Additionally, as you progress through the league, you'll be able to unlock special abilities that let you manipulate the options you have available on each tablet. If you don't like any of the choices available to you, you can earn the ability to skip picking one entirely. The next ability is even stronger. It lets you re-roll the list of options so that you can immediately pick another one. Finally, you can earn the ability to exile a choice entirely. For the rest of this tablet, that choice will no longer appear. Once you reach maps, you'll be able to itemize your mirrored tablets so that they don't have to be played immediately. They can be stored for later or traded with other players.
Okay, that's cool.
As you visit the Lake of Calandra to attempt your mirrored tablets, there are many types of rewards you can find. An encounter that is based on a past league implicitly grants the rewards from that league, but with extra juice so that you're not missing out on bonuses you'd have obtained if your Atlas tree applied to the lake. Other encounters that aren't based on past leagues generally yield a reward chest that rises out of the lake when you complete the encounter. Certain reflections grant you access to a new variation on rare items, exclusive to the Calandra Challenge League.
Okay.
When you complete the encounter, you'll get access to some reflecting mist, which presents you with a difficult choice. It generates a rare ring or amulet with an unusual set of mods. Some are very high, and some are very negative, which hurt your character. The item is then duplicated, with a reflected copy having inverse mods. Negative ones are now positive and vice versa.
It's not...
The amount that all of these mods are scaled up by is based on the difficulty of the encounter you just completed. You may only pick one of these items to keep.
Like, that's not good though.
It'll often be a tough choice, with each item having its own strong pros and cons.
Wrangling all over
but
again,
sometimes you'll be offered an item where the negative mods aren't downsides for your build,
Oh,
and the juiced up positive mods are very attractive.
No, never
There are
mind.
also some special new jewelry base types that you can rarely receive from this process. One rare and difficult encounter rewards you with an advanced version of this crafting process. It allows you to bring your own ring or amulet, distorting and reflecting it with the same process described before. The mods are scaled up in value and some are randomly negated. The reflected copy has the inverse set of negations. It will certainly be tempting to gamble with some of your best jewelry to try to double the values that really matter for your build and negate the ones you don't care about. If you're very lucky, you may find a special league-exclusive unique ring at the lake. Calandra's touch mirrors the effect of your other ring. The Calandra Challenge League has something for everyone. It's an out-of-area combat league where you build your own sequences of encounters. It lets you fully dictate your desired level of risk and reward and fully customize what content you play. It features a powerful crafting system, valuable rewards, and offers a glimpse into the lore of one of Path of Exile's most iconic characters. We can't wait to play it with you next week.
Yeah, it's gonna be locked. The thing I don't like about it is it essentially
in every expansion leading up to Path of Exile 2's release, we'll be improving Path of Exile's endgame with new content to explore and new ways to customize your endgame experience. In the Lake of Calandra expansion, we're introducing Atlas Memories. They aren't a league feature, they're part of the core game, affecting standard and persisting once the Calandra League has ended. In maps, you'll very rarely find a memory item. which represents a set of memories that an NPC has about their past. Something special happened to them while exploring maps, and you're able to experience those events for yourself.
Interesting.
Let's have a look at a couple of examples. In this Atlas memory, Kirik tells you about the time that he stumbled across a staging ground for a Harbinger invasion of Rayclust. Each successive map you play in the sequence has more and more Harbinger portals and invaders that you must deal with. This is a memory of Nico's, where he entered a sequence of maps that were entirely consumed by permanent breaches, like a Breachlord's domain. He survived to talk about it, but will you? Right-click a memory and apply it to a completed map on your Atlas. It'll mark out a series of adjacent maps that the Atlas memory will span. When you next talk to the relevant NPC in your hideout, they'll tell you about their recollections and will allow you to start exploring the memory. Each map in the sequence is provided for free by the NPC, and you'll be able to roll it like usual before running it. Because these maps are memories of the NPC, they are not affected by your Atlas tree. However, the content is generally as difficult and rewarding as a fully specialized Atlas tree would cause it to be.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Each successive map in the sequence gets harder and more rewarding as the memories intensify. While memories are tradable, they're also very rare and valuable, so you'll probably want to complete them yourself if you can.
So memories are going to be pog loot. Okay.
For players who love lore, Atlas memories help expand on the backstory of key NPCs. For players wanting to try out different League mechanics at quite high levels of juice that they haven't specialized their Atlas for, memories let them do this without a bunch of respecking. And for everyone else, Atlas memories are a great way to earn some valuable items, if you're strong enough to complete them. The Lake of Calandra expansion also contains a new unique map that I'm quite excited about. The Trial Master is back. This boss from Ultimatum, and more importantly the unique items he drops, have been sorely missed and will be making a return as the Tower of Ordeal's unique map in Lake of Calandra. This map can be created by completing difficult endgame Val content. We have not forgotten about the rest of Ultimatum and have a specific plan for how it will return in the future. Whenever we're improving Path of Exile's endgame, we take every opportunity we can to add new variations of rewards that you can find. We don't want to say too much about how these are acquired, but in this expansion it's possible to very rarely find special foil versions of any pinnacle boss unique item. These have the same stats as regular ones, but are certain to be highly prized by collectors or wealthy players wanting to show off.
Okay.
The Lake of Calandra expansion contains 14 new unique items. In addition to the Calandra's Touch Ring that is exclusive to the Calandra Challenge League, we have introduced a new endgame pinnacle boss reward, a supporter unique, the Tower of Ordeal's unique map, 6 new Grand Spectrum tools, and even some leveling uniques. The first we're showing you today is Soul Ascension, a pair of gloves designed by Zizaran. They drop from the Uber Elder. Soul Eater is a very powerful buff, but it is usually hard to obtain in boss fights. This unique grants you the ability to gain stacks of Soul Eater when you hit a unique enemy, but also makes you lose those stacks if you aren't near one. Ghost Wraith is a leveling unique which allows you to play as an almost pure energy shield character during early parts of the campaign. We'll reveal the other new unique items in this expansion over the next week.
Oh, that's cool.
Path of Exile has a lot of unique items in its core drop pool, over 700 in fact. We feel that there are two big problems with unique items at the moment. The first is that you find too many, and the second is that they are generally pretty useless when you do. Sure, there are some powerful endgame or build-enabling uniques that feel amazing to find, but the majority of unique items found throughout the game are rarely actually useful to you. In the Lake of Calandra expansion, we have made a lot of changes here. We have reduced the overall drop rate of uniques throughout the game and have rebalanced and overhauled over 100 existing unique items, with an emphasis on uniques in the core drop pool, including leveling uniques and some endgame uniques. You're going to find unique items less frequently now, but when you do, they're going to be a lot more punchy. Nectar's Lantern has been completely changed from the ground up. Previously, it was trying to allow you to play a hybrid attacker and spellcaster, but it didn't really work very well. With the new design, it's a lot more elegant and delivers on this goal by simply granting high damage and the Battle Mage effect, so that your weapon damage is added to your spells.
Oh, another Battle Mage item. Oh, that's sick, actually.
Thousand Ribbons is an example of an item where we merely needed to tweak values on the existing mods to make it a lot better. We want mod value rolls to matter more, and this item now showcases that well.
Okay.
If you find a high rolled one early on, you're probably not replacing it for a long time.
Yeah, that's pretty good for leveling. Requires level 14.
Malachai's Simula was trying to deliver the Blood Mage fantasy by allowing you to spend life to cast your spells. This was meant to be special because the Blood Magic Keystone was far away from the Witch starting location on the skill tree. Unfortunately, this item wasn't really powerful enough to justify its use. It has now been overhauled, and alongside Blood Magic, it grants a powerful multiplicative damage
double
boost.
damage. It's pretty good. There you go, Toucan.
With over 100 uniques rebalanced in this way, your play experience is now punctuated by quite large bursts of power when you find one. We'll continue to examine the power level and rarity of more unique items in subsequent expansions.
If you find a unique in the campaign, it's just GG.
The
Okay,
Lake
here
of
we go.
Kalandra expansion includes 3 new skill gems and 1 new support gem. Alchemist's Mark is a new mark skill. Igniting or poisoning the marked target creates burning or caustic ground underneath them, based on the damage of the strongest ignite or poison on the enemy. The damage of the ground effects also scales with Curse and Mark effect, providing a non-standard way to scale your build's damage. Hitting the marked target also refills some of your flask charges.
Okay.
This new skill opens up an extra source of damage for ignite or poison-focused characters, especially for ignite builds that want an alternative to Flame Surge, or poison builds that cause fewer, higher damage poisons.
Oh my god.
This high-level build uses Flame Blast, with 100% of the damage converted to Chaos, to inflict huge poisons on enemies. When Alchemist's Mark is cast on an enemy first, that enemy drops caustic ground when it's poisoned, scaled by those big Flame Blast poison hits, melting everything into a puddle.
It's pretty cool.
Galvanic Field is a new shock-themed spell. When used, you gain a buff, granting a small bonus chance to shock. When you next shock an enemy, the buff is consumed and the enemy becomes energized, repeatedly zapping themselves and nearby targets, a lot like Ball Lightning.
It's kind of like... It's almost like
if the energized enemy dies, then the energy sits at their location and continues to zap things.
So
Galvanic Field's area of effect and zap damage scale with the strength of the shock on the target. While Galvanic Field is great for any build that shocks, you can even fully build around it, and use a skill with increased shock effectiveness like Arc to shock enemies and kill them with a ball of death. Lightning Conduit is another new shock-themed spell. A wave propagates out from the target location, causing lightning bolts to strike all shocked enemies in a large area.
It's like Orbistorms became a brand, yeah. It's not
the damage is scaled by the strength of the shock on each enemy.
A lot of shock effects.
Lightning Conduit cannot itself shock and won't hit non-shocked enemies at all. So the challenge with this skill is to find a way to consistently apply powerful shocks to your targets to make the most of Lightning Conduit's high damage potential and area of effect. This high-level build uses Wave of Conviction to shock enemies, before casting Lightning Conduit until they're obliterated. For longer fights, it can employ Galvanic Field to create a constant source of lightning damage.
All these builds look bad, to be honest.
Last but not least, Overcharge Support is a new support gem that causes supported skills to deal less damage, but makes them inflict much stronger shocks and grants them a higher chance to
it's
shock.
like shock.
Overcharge lets many different lightning skills create powerful shocks.
Okay.
Use this to take advantage of Shock's large damage multiplier, or to activate Lightning Conduit and Galvanic Field.
That's gonna be very interesting.
As Path of Exile expands, we often revisit previous leagues, reworking them so they stay relevant and engaging.
Please,
in Lake of Calandra, we are targeting 3 such leagues, Arch Nemesis, Beyond, and Harvest.
Oh my god, I'm
the
so
larger
nervous.
context here is that we've been re-examining what role rare and magic monsters have in Path of Exile. The introduction of Arch Nemesis modifiers as the monster mod pool prompted quite a lot of discussion about how often you should encounter rare and magic monsters, how difficult they should be to kill, and how rewarding their death should be. Previously, League content made fights hard by spawning a lot of rare monsters. A whole lot. In some cases 6 to 8 times the normal rate of rare monsters.
Yeah, we like that.
Now that we have better mods available to make fights against rare monsters individually challenging, we have gone through the whole game and normalized the rate that rare monsters are spawned at.
Less rare monsters.
Some leagues had quite large reductions in spawn rate. You won't encounter situations with dozens of rare monsters on screen at once anymore. Alongside this reduction of how many rare monsters you'll face, we have improved their rewards and made sure that they scale with both difficulty of the encounter and any item rarity or quantity bonuses that you have. During the campaign, you'll only encounter 1 and 2 mod rare monsters. The 2 mod encounters are a bit harder and have better drops. In maps, you'll stop encountering 1 mod rare monsters entirely, and will mostly encounter 2 and 3 mod rare monsters. It'll also be possible to encounter 4 mod rare monsters again. Not only are the innate item drop bonuses scaled up significantly on monsters with many mods, but we have made these challenging encounters rewarding in another way too.
So they made them harder? That was the
About
fix?
a third of the more powerful Arch-Nemesis modifiers now use a special reward conversion system. For example, if you defeat a monster with a Corruptor mod, all of its drops become corrupted. The Solaris Touched mod converts all of its item drops to maps.
Headhunter nerf, yeah.
The Katava Touch mod will cause the rarity of its drops to be upgraded by 1 tier, so magic becomes rare, rare becomes unique, and so on. If you're lucky, you can find these conversion modifiers on both the 3rd and 4th mod of a rare monster. This causes them to stack together. So if you kill a 4 mod rare monster with both the Entangler and Katava Touched mods on it, its heavily juiced drops will also be converted to jewels with their rarity upgraded by a tier. Due to the high amount of inherent item rarity that 4 mod rare monsters have, this may result in several unique jewels dropping.
Ah, man.
This conversion system is fully compatible with your item rarity and quantity bonuses, as well as the drop bonuses from all other Arch-Nemesis mods. Going forward, we want to make sure that a lot more item reward mechanics scale with your character item bonuses. Get your Magic Find characters ready. As a result of this system, when you do encounter a rare monster with many Arch-Nemesis mods, you are well rewarded for the difficult fight.
Yeah, that's what we all wanted.
We have also been listening to feedback about the Arch-Nemesis mods that can spawn on magic monsters. Too many of them had external visual clarity issues like on-death effects. We have toned these down on magic monsters so that more of them are stat-based bonuses that aren't so spammy. Encounters that spawn a series of magic monsters now make sure to preserve the same Arch-Nemesis modifiers between the monsters rather than rolling a different one for each monster. This will further help keep the game state understandable in hectic situations. Beyond was introduced in August 2014, initially as a hardcore-only challenge league. It's 8 years old now and certainly has several issues. Firstly, the art. Have you ever really taken a close look at a Beyond demon? It is literally a bandit from Act 2, dunked in red paint. The second issue is its balance. The number of magic and rare monsters spawned is so much higher than the rest of the game, and whatever problems that resulted in before are magnified now that rare monsters are meant to be more difficult. Beyond also spawns way too many unique bosses, which causes its own set of issues. In Lake of Calandra, we have given Beyond much more than a fresh coat of paint. The Scourge have taken over the realm of the Beyond demons. The old bandit Beyond demons are gone. Summoning monsters from Beyond will now summon Scourge monsters and bosses. We have completely rebalanced the rate that Beyond monsters and bosses spawn at so that it's appropriate for modern Path of Exile. The new Beyond monsters can now occasionally drop the Scourge League's tainted currency items that allow you to modify corrupted items.
Beyond is Scourge bosses now. So no more Headhunter Beyond.
We've also completely revamped how harvest crafting works. Rather than being presented with a selection of crafting options that must be used immediately, you now receive itemized tradable life force of the appropriate color. This life force can be used later, in your own time, at the hoarder crafting bench in your hideout. Its crafting options are now priced in terms of this itemized life force currency.
Okay.
Tier 4 bosses are now encountered much more frequently and can drop a key to fight a Shabi. She yields special life force which can be used for a specific set of crafts.
Oh, that's cool. First cool change.
We have rebalanced all harvest crafts for the new system and have removed a bunch of filler crafts and some ones with deterministic outcomes that were incredibly RNG gated before. Some crafts that provided access to exclusive content, like the special offerings to the goddess, have been removed because these items can now be found in more appropriate locations elsewhere in the game. The result of these changes is that when you complete a harvest, you aren't presented with 30 crafts which must either be used immediately or unsafely traded to some player you found on a community Discord server. It also means that every bit of life force you receive is going towards a craft that you actually want to use on one of your items, when you're ready to use it. Your interaction with the Sacred Grove is now far simpler as well. Just enter, pick your plots, defeat the monsters, and get on with your mapping.
Yeah, I like that.
Like with Arch-Nemesis and Beyond, we have also addressed the monster composition of Harvest's fights, so that it doesn't contain too many rare monster mods, and so that it is of appropriate difficulty for its rewards.
Okay, well that's
In addition, the rewards for Harvest now scale with map quantity and pack size, incentivizing you to juice your maps.
Juiced Harvest.
Previously, the crafts you received
Well,
were not
Harvest is
scaled up
looking
at
good.
all if you played a harder map. Last week, we posted this expansion's character balance manifesto, which detailed the many changes we're making in Lake of Calandra. There are plenty more changes, which we will include in the full patch notes that will be posted after this livestream. But on this stream, I'd like to talk about a few specific areas: minion itemization, Exalted and Divine Orbs, and the Trickster Ascendancy class. Historically, minion builds have not been particularly reliant on the stats of their items. Most of the power of their minions came from their skill and support gems. This led to a few problems. Firstly, it gave them a bit of a free ride compared to most other character builds. And secondly, it meant that it was hard for minion players to actually specialize their character to be really, really good. We want to solve both of these problems in this expansion. Path of Exile is a game about items, and that means that you will now be strongly rewarded for finding items that make your minions better. It also means that, like with other builds, if you find good items, you'll be far more damaging and survivable than before. We described a variety of minion changes in last week's Character Balance Manifesto. Today I want to show you the new base item types we have added to help your minion itemization.
Should have been released in the manifesto.
We've added a new ring base type, the Bone Ring. This ring has implicit minion elemental resistances and can roll minion related modifiers.
Okay.
We've added level 20 and 50 versions of the Convoking Wand, called the Calling Wand and Covening Wand respectively. Like the Convoking Wand, these new base types can roll minion-related modifiers. Some new minion-related mods have been added to the pool available to these wands, and some existing mods have been adjusted or made more common. We have repurposed the bone-themed spirit shields so that they have minion damage implicit mods rather than spell damage, and can also roll minion-related mods.
Okay. Yeah, you get plus minion skills and all that stuff.
Alongside the stable of existing unique items, there's now quite a lot more base type support for minion characters, and good mods on those base types can stack up to some pretty large bonuses for your minions. I also wanted to discuss two of the rarest currency items in Path of Exile, Divine Orbs and Exalted Orbs. These actually have the same drop rate, but Exalted Orbs are worth so much more in trade because there's no easy vendor recipe for them, and because they're consumed when you craft certain meta mods onto items.
What are they gonna do?
Out of these two currency items are rarer, so that unique items with good rolls matter more, and so that players can exalt craft their items more frequently. We are making two changes that will impact this. Firstly, we are changing the cost of crafting meta mods so that they cost Divine Orbs rather than Exalted Orbs.
Okay, Divine Orbs are
Secondly,
expensive.
we are changing the 6-link vendor recipe to grant 20 orbs of fusing rather than a Divine Orb.
Oh wow.
This change will result in Exalted Orbs being far more available for crafting, and Divine Orbs less available for re-rolling mods on items. It'll certainly be interesting to see what the de facto trade currency becomes next league.
Okay.
Next, I'd like to talk about the Trickster Ascendancy
Fuck out
class.
of people.
We haven't been happy with the state of this Ascendancy class recently. While it used to be quite powerful, we moved its defining feature, Ghost Dance, onto the main passive skill tree. Since then, it has had a confused identity and hasn't met the power level of the other Ascendancy classes. In this expansion, we have reworked the Trickster with a focus on establishing thematically appropriate defenses and ways to manipulate speed. One step ahead allows the Trickster to manipulate time in an interesting way. Enemies are slower than normal and cannot have their action speed raised above this value, such as through an acceleration shrine. Conversely, the Trickster is faster by default and cannot have action speed lowered below this value, effectively making them immune to effects that lower action speed such as freeze, chill, or temporal chains.
That's really good.
Spellbreaker ties together spell suppression and energy shield in a powerful way. Spellbreaker grants some spell suppression chance, which is an effect that reduces damage taken from spells. The skill also starts your energy shield recharge half the time you suppress spells. Since Trickster characters tend to have a high evasion rating, you will be evading some hits and recharging on others, meaning that your energy shield recharge stays active most of the time. Spellbreaker also further improves defenses by reducing the damage you take from suppressed spells while on full energy shield. For those that want a different way to recover energy shield, the powerful Soul Drinker notable passive is no longer exclusive to Forbidden Jewels from the Uber-Searing Exarch and Eater of Worlds. Any Trickster can now allocate this skill. Polymath provides more bonus damage, life, mana, and energy shield on kill for each different type of mastery you have allocated.
armor stack.
It reinforces the idea of a trickster being a jack of all trades, and will lead to interesting decisions when planning your passive tree, trying to fit in as many different types of masteries as possible.
It's kind of like the more damage is intriguing, but the other stuff's
Overall, the new trickster is intended to be the Shadow's answer to the champion, but faster. He should be an exciting option for players who want to get a lot of evasion,
really good,
energy
though.
shield, and recovery out of their Ascendancy class while still being able to melt enemies.
Amazing changes.
Alongside today's livestream, we're launching 2 new series of supporter
trickster one
packs,
is cool.
the Knight and Rogue packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value and points, plus several exclusive microtransactions. These packs are only available during the Calandra League and will leave the store forever in 3 months. Every microtransaction you're about to see is entirely cosmetic and does not affect your character's progression or power.
That was pretty sick.
The Knight Pack series contains 6 exclusive microtransactions, including the full Knightmaster armor set.
Perfectly Knight.
The Etheric Mana Flask releases a burst of mana upon activation, and draws in energy from the environment as your mana refills.
Headhunter nerfs.
The Hoarder's Stash is a stash skin that can be used in your hideout. As you place items in the stash, they hover above it until you're finished, before being sucked into storage.
That's kind of cool.
This is the Knightmaster armor set. While wearing its helmet, your actions are periodically duplicated by an ethereal copy of yourself. The Blood-Scouring Cloak absorbs blood as you slay monsters. It tracks your kill streak and cleans itself off when the slaughter ends.
Yeah, kind of cool.
The Ring of the Victor causes a podium to rise up underneath you when you are standing still, elevating you above other players.
Elitist.
The Warlord's Lieutenant Portal summons a warrior spirit who will greet you, cheer you on, and commend you on your actions.
For leveling? Maybe. Not as many OP Arch Nemesis monsters in leveling as they say.
The Rogue Pack series has 6 exclusive microtransactions, including the Rogue Stalker armor set. The Beast of Burden Pit visually carries your items for you, becoming more laden with bags and packs the more full your inventory gets.
Make your dog carry your shit around for
The
you?
Collector Serpent Shield covets the treasure you find. Whenever you pick up an item, the serpent darts out to grab it.
Okay. Way to go, GGG.
This is the Rogue Stalker armor set. While wearing its gloves, critical strikes cause blades to appear and slice at your enemies.
That's cool. Skills using. Using Reeve?
The Corpse Bloom footprints cause exotic plant growth in your wake. The plants especially love corpses and will seek them out and grow in larger patches around them.
Dude, all this shit just makes me feel like we spent way too long on this. Okay. The female.
On the other hand, the Undertaker's amulet inters corpses for you, burying them and marking their location with gravestones.
If you're an edgelord and play Path of Exile.
The Unstable Explosives back attachment is not for the faint of heart. As your life gets lower and lower, it gets closer and closer to exploding.
And then you explode.
And when you die, your party members will certainly feel it. As I mentioned before, these packs are exclusive to the Calandra League and will leave the store in 3 months. They're available right now at pathofexile.com/purchase, and they directly fund the ongoing development of Path of Exile 2 and Path of Exile 1 expansions like Lake of Calandra. In addition, the supporter packs introduced with a Sentinel expansion are leaving the store forever in 1 week. Now's your last chance to purchase them, and we greatly appreciate your support.
Man, I'm so nervous.
Speaking of things leaving the store, the Kerrix Vault Pass for Sentinel is only available for the next few days also, and will leave the store forever when the league ends. There's no penalty for purchasing the pass late in the league after you've wrapped up your map completion, so if you're pleased with where you got to in maps and Sentinel and want to lock in your unique skins, it's not too late to buy your pass. Next up, we've got the Q&A with ZiggyD. Once that ends, we'll post the full patch notes for Lake of Calandra.
Okay, so
Over the
pageants are
next
up
week, our
until after
community
Q&A
team will
anyway.
post teasers
So
for
we'll watch
new
Q&A.
and revamped unique items, upcoming quality of life improvements, and an announcement for the League launch race event. On launch weekend, we'll be running another
guys are
set
getting
of Twitch
progress
drops,
towards the wings,
and
right?
expect to release the new Mystery Box and Kirik's Vault Pass in the days after launch. Thanks for joining us and checking out today's reveals. We can't wait to see you in Rayclast on August 19th. We'll begin the Q&A in a few moments, so please get your questions ready in chat.
Well, Headhunter got hit pretty hard. A lot of unfavorable changes there. Beyond got reworked to be super lame, and new skills are all about shock, which was interesting and could be cool. What else was there? Arch Nemesis rework seemed like they just danced around what everybody wanted them to do and made it even more in the direction that they wanted to go, which everybody hates. So that was really interesting. They're like, we know you guys hate Arch Nemesis monsters, so we've now made less of them and made them more difficult. That's what I gathered from that. I don't know if they made them more difficult, but it sounded like that's really, really concerning. Yeah, I don't know. Heatforged gloves are back, baby. Yeah, that's interesting too. Where did they say that comes from? So farming Uber at Siri might be pretty good, because they said the drops for the boss from Ultimatum come from Vol, high-end Vol stuff. They're way too common, so this is kind of a win. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Kind of a bummer.
G'day folks, ZiggyD here, welcome back Exiles. Chris, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Excellent to have you back for some Q&A action after some very big announcements. Firstly though, super exciting news about Exilecon returning next year. It's actually I don't know if it was the same for other people, but it was kind of an emotional announcement because that was such a beautiful time for us last Exilecon, and you know, it's been a hard few years I think as well. So it hits kind of extra hard. What led to the decision to organize a new Exilecon now?
Well, we've wanted to run another one for a while, and it was unfortunate that immediately after the last one, there was the global pandemic and stuff, and that just made it too difficult to organize events, plus all of the safety issues. But things are looking both a bit safer, and we certainly have a lot of Path of Exile 2 stuff to talk about. With real this kind of fits into the overall marketing plan for Path of Exile 2, is that next year is the year that we start to reveal pretty much everything. We're going to go through every game system, we're going to show all the areas, the classes, like, so much has changed since last time we talked about it. Like, it has evolved to be a global pandemic thing, and we want to talk about that in detail. And so we're going to start the marketing. Everything's going to debut at Exilecon 2023. And it's an opportunity. People can play the basically complete game at that stage. We can announce when the beta date's starting. We can go through panels of all of the things. And then we can, you know, kickstart the marketing and show people in other territories. You know, I think there's Gamescom, PAX West, and so on, various other places that we can then take that to after Exilecon.
That gives us a pretty firm-ish timeline for PoE 2 then, which is very exciting.
We won't be releasing it before July next year, that's correct.
that's true. We've been holding our breaths, I think, since last Exilecon. That was like such a huge reveal then, but a lot of what was revealed has kind of leaked its way in game since then. So I imagine that if you've got a whole new Exilecon of stuff to show, then, you know, how much more progress has there been made since then?
Yeah. Well, don't get your hopes up. We're not announcing another new sequel. Like, the ability to announce Path of Exile 2 on stage was a surprise that was amazing, but we're not announcing a Path of Exile 3, obviously. This is all about Path of Exile 2 and mobile. And whatever Path of Exile 1 expansion is immediately coming out after Exilecon, like the next one in the chain.
I mean, if you want to grab some news headlines, just be like, forget about Path of Exile 2. We're going straight to PoE 3. Make headlines. How cold is it in Auckland in July, by the way? That's in winter for you Northern Hemisphere folks.
It's not too bad actually. I mean, I'm in a t-shirt today, right? Like it's pretty mild. It's not like the frigid suburbs of Melbourne or wherever you guys are. But seriously, for people in the Northern Hemisphere, I understand that your winters involve things like snow. We don't get that here. It's pretty much like 8 to 25 degrees C, you know, depending on what day it is, and it's not too bad. There are lots of good things to see in New Zealand in the winter. Like there's a really good ski, you know, season going on at the same time in the cold parts of New Zealand, but in Auckland there's no problem whatsoever. So we feel that having a convention during winter is not a big logistical issue.
Great. But yes, don't bring your, board shorts and singlet shirts.
Yes,
bring some warm clothes.
Good information for
and
right
make
now,
some
ZiggyD.
considerations if you're cosplaying as well. I was originally planning a Tentacle Miscreation cosplay, but I'm going to have to change my plans, I think. So, Lake of Calandra is the new league this time around,
Lake of
and the
Calandra,
mirrored
ZiggyD.
lakes look
What we're all here to
incredible.
talk about.
I love the basalt columns rising out and the reflection of the clouds and sun and stuff on the water. Is there some like new graphical tech here, or is this just finding some creative new ways to use what you've got?
Well, the great thing about the way we're developing Path of Exile 1 and 2 is we get basically the PoE 2 engine and PoE 1 that we can use as we see fit, and so that means when we wanted like surface reflections for the lake, we just found an engineer and said, how hard would this be? And the answer was less than 1 day. And so it's really helpful that we have like a world-class team of graphics engineers working on iterating. Even though we're not using most of the capabilities in PoE 1, when we need to, we're definitely able to.
Awesome. Kalandra is such a mythical figure in PoE 2 as well. So like to do an expansion dedicated to her is a big decision, I guess. But without spoiling too much of her story, of course, because I understand you don't want to spoil too much right now. But how did you arrive at like the theme and flavor for this expansion? Like it's a lake and she's a bird lady.
We've wanted to explore Kalandra for a while, and this is a perfect opportunity because it both fits the lore that we've built up for her, and also mechanically works really well with the out of area build a complicated set of encounters kind of thing. The theme of her or the lake being able to reflect various aspects of raid class, fitting in with the mirror theme, and also fitting in with the fact that you're choosing encounters, many of which are league content that players have played before with a bit of a twist on it. It helps kind of justify the fact that you're, fighting breaches and that kind of stuff, not just arbitrarily. It's because she and the lake are intentionally able to actually manifest stuff from elsewhere in Rayclast.
Speaking of like this zone building concept, this seems like a pretty natural evolution of Synthesis' custom map building, which I'm very excited to see a expansion on that concept. But you don't need to collect a bunch of physical things this time. How is your approach to designing league content like this changing?
Well, we see this one as similar to Synthesis, similar to Incursion as well, because you're building an area, and we like to think that we've learned from mistakes we made in the past, which may not be the same mistakes that Twitch chat would call out that we've been making, but we have certainly improved how we're doing it. Also, another aspect here is that the difficulty scaling, in this case based on Manhattan distance depth from the origin when you're playing, that is similar to what we were doing in both Delirium, where there was difficulty based on distance from origin, and also with Sentinel, where you've got empowerment scores based on a bunch of stuff. So we've learned various ways of juicing up the risk and reward together and using the same kind of math here. But in terms of how we're iterating on these area building leagues, we're trying very hard to not be too micromanaging with this one. You will notice it's relatively easy. You find your mirrored tablet, you put some reflections on it, and then you run it. And you could do a little bit of swapping stuff around to try to make the layout a lot better, but that comes at the cost of not putting a reflection on the tablet. And so it in some ways rewards less micromanagement than usual, just getting in there and killing some monsters. But there'll be opportunities, of course, where people can micromanage it a little bit.
Yeah, well, that kind of segues into my next question, was like, how do you balance something like this between the people that want to just kind of jump in and run some fun content versus the people who really want to think about it and min-max it and make it super challenging, that sort of thing?
I think you'll find cases where you want to opportunistically improve your tablet. So if you were to sit there just skipping lots of choices, trying very hard to get the things that move stuff around, you'd take forever to complete a tablet. And maybe you'd get one that's really cool and worth a lot, but you could have done 2 tablets on the same time. But you'll find situations where you realize, if I just swap this entrance location, it juices half the encounters on the tablet by a huge amount. And with one small change, or maybe moving one of the water tiles around to make a really long windy path around it, those kind of things there will let a person who's thinking about it deeply get a lot of extra value from the tablet. But to be completely honest, the way I'm playing it is slap some reflections on there and then go and struggle to complete them. So yeah, it's only really the skilled players who are the ones who are going to want to be juicing it all the way.
That sounds familiar. How many maps does it take on average to build a mirrored lake at endgame?
So in the end game, there's approximately 11 or 12 blank tiles to fill in. The tablet size varies a little bit as it gets larger as you progress through. You'd normally get about 2 reflections per map, and so that's approximately 5 to 6 areas for each lake tablet that you want to build. So this is about twice as often as Incursion, where you'd be getting an Incursion temple every 11 areas or so. So we've doubled the rate that you're doing that, and these can be saved up. So it's entirely possible to just stack up a giant pile of maps of lakes, in your stash and come back to them later on if you want to. And of course, they're fully tradable. So if you want to run a lot more lakes, you can just buy them from the trade side, basically.
That's great. How does the mirrored lake building and running work for co-op?
Well, whenever you find a mirrored tablet, everyone in your party gets to improve their tablet. So if you're running through an area together, whenever you get the ability to place a reflection down, everyone can do it on their own tablets. And then at the point that they decide to run the tablet, all the party members can take part in it.
We've already got some questions coming in from chat. Someone asked, how does the edge of the terrain in the mirror of Calandra area affect things like projectiles like spark bouncing off them and things like that? Can you like shoot over these areas? Is it like a hard invisible wall?
I believe that there is projectile transmissibility over them, so you can fire projectiles without hitting a hard wall. I'll do the obligatory dev check to confirm that. Okay, good. I know what's going on there. There will be some invisible wall far off into the corners of the lake, but it will not affect your gameplay.
Great. Crowfire asks, does the mirror ring for Calandra mirror unique rings? Actually, I have my own question about this, so I might as well bring it up then now. How does the mirror of Calandra ring work when you have a unique ring like Snake Pit, where in the right slot, it adds an extra chain, but then in the left slot it does something else? Does it mirror the right slot effect, or does it mirror what would happen if it was in the left slot?
It's exactly as though you had another copy of that ring equipped. One way to look at it is, imagine you took a mirror of Calandra and you applied it to the ring and you equipped that mirrored copy.
Ah, okay, there you go. So probably not worth doing it like that then. But given that it can mirror theoretically the best ring in the game, I guess, so it does work on uniques, but you probably might be better off in some cases.
And it's dynamic as well, of course. You can take it, mirror your ring, mirror a different one, trade it to someone else. It's not locked in like an actual mirror is. But of course, only works on rings.
That's pretty awesome. Aldersberg asks, are there any Lake of Calandra mechanics timed? Oh, any of the Lake of Calandra mechanics timed?
Not that I'm aware of. We tried very hard to not have this be a timed league.
Great.
Are you aware of any that are timed?
Stuff like Delirium.
Yeah, right. Things like Delirium or Breach, where if you pop a Breach open, obviously it's going to close with the normal timing that league has, but there's no specific benefits of going fast apart from everything, is a lot better if you play fast from a rewards point of view. Like the game is already set up so that fast players achieve more stuff in proportion to this.
It's really good for 6-linking.
Nice, I like that. Ariel asks, how big is the lake arena, and will non-tanky characters feel claustrophobic? Or dead.
I recommend having another look at the footage that we showed in the trailer and the live stream. Each basically is broken up into approximately screen-sized arenas for each of the encounters. And so you'll be able to see the rough shape from some of the ones we showed there. There's little walkways that come up between them, so it can be seen as a gigantic grid that can be up to 5 by 5 in size, where it's roughly square-shaped islands, except that the shape of each one isn't a square. Like, it can be a square at most, but obviously there's lots of stuff missing around the outside to make it interesting.
This idea of like a screen-sized arena after arena of all sorts of different challenges feels kind of gauntlet-y. That's I didn't really think of it like that.
Yeah, honestly, they're a lot of fun to play through. It's quite a cool mechanic.
Awesome. Well, I'm really looking forward to that. I'm also really looking forward to the fact that there's new crafting mechanics. You guys have been messing with crafting a lot lately, and I love to see it. The ethereal reflection system looks quite awesome. But you also hinted at some unique bases. Are these separate to the previously announced new minion rings?
But yeah, there's 5 more ring base types that you can get from this league, and basically they crop up in the window when. So there's 2 crafting encounters. The first one will provide you with 2 rings or amulets, and it chooses. And the other one, which is much harder to get and much more valuable, is where you bring your own. And in the one that provides you, occasionally, and of course this is the kind of thing that's proportional to difficulty, like you want to be encountering this in harder encounters, this, in proportion to difficulty, will occasionally generate one of these new base types that have some pretty interesting properties. And I think people should always look at the announcement page that we make, pathofexile.com/Calandra, because we like to hide away things like hovers for the base types and stuff there. Ooh. So there's lots of extra information and cool things people can see, more screenshots of the stuff, including one of those actual rings, so you can see what it does.
Are you doing any more like secret hidden things on those pages? Like you did that one time, I think it was with Scourge or something?
No comment.
That was fun. I liked that.
I did actually have to get the team to remove a secret hidden thing from the page that was too secret. Players can find that in game.
Harsh. Too secret. Okay. Are there any new rare modifiers, or is this mostly about scaling mods beyond their regular power levels? Like we saw 105 strength on a ring, for example.
Other than the implicits on those new ring-based types, of which there are 5 sets, there are no new rare modifiers that spawn on the items, and that's mostly because getting things like +2 skills and more than 100 life on rings and amulets is pretty bonkers. So, yeah, like if the dream here is that you get one where the drawbacks, like let's say you're playing a Resolute Technique character and you don't care about crit, and you also get like some damage over time stuff, and those things are reduced. You weren't using them in the first place. You were playing some other build, and everything else is juiced up to more than double.
That's the thing I don't like about this.
So you can definitely get some really
It's like if your ring had bad mods on it, your ring can't get a lot better.
You actually get because you get a choice of 2. You kind of get 2 shots at it. Like if you're unlucky and the wrong things are picked, they may have also been positive on the other side.
Yeah, that's gonna be some big gambles. I'm looking forward to seeing that. We know ahead of time if you'll be seeing the ethereal reflecting mist, which is the one that lets you bring your own version to craft. Or will there just be a stash available there for when you need crafting mechanics like this?
So that one's only available in mirror tablets that are assembled from maps, like in the end game. And because of that, the tablets are itemized.
It's worse than
and it's always there for the encounter that has it. And so basically, you will be able to see on a tablet that you're about to run, or one that you're trading for, that it has that. And this means you can either know in advance that it's there, which probably means that tablet commands a higher premium in trade, unless you bring an item in. Or, because you've got your 6 map portals, if you completely forget and you run into this encounter, you can, at worst, go out using a portal and come back in with the item you need.
Okay, great. The fact that you know ahead of time, I think, circumvents a lot of that.
Or you can just you can YOLO mist one of your current items potentially. Just take a gamble on your current amulet and see what happens.
Oh no, I don't advise that. Can you mirror an already mirrored unique like a ring or
there's
amulet?
a currency that drops from the monsters
No,
now.
we had a look, and like with
and you just pick up all the currency, then you can report a crafting thing later and spend all the currency to
well, you've seen what
pick what
recombinators can
things
do.
you need.
But we had a look here because this is already doing quite crazy stuff
Shabby
with items,
drops
and we've had
like
to disallow
currency now.
working on mirrored items and influenced items and corrupted items and synthesized jewelry.
Yeah, that was
a
a
lot
good
of
change. I
cases
like
that would
that
have been totally nuts.
Did like that one.
Having said that, it can still do some broken stuff with just general rares.
I think I'll
from
be
the
definitely
game.
doing
The
Harvest.
ability to double half the mods is completely unprecedented, and you don't really need influence mods in play when you're getting vast amounts of life and resists and other types of damage.
And there was a new oil to
Beyond is going to be mandatory?
anoint mirrored
Why would you say
items,
that?
since we're getting so many this league and you're like, oh, I didn't
Beyond is just
oil it
Scourge.
first. Is that like super rare, or is that pretty accessible?
I mean, the tainted
It's
currencies be nice.
roughly as available
it's
as
not
the
that good.
tainted oil, but you don't need to complete corrupted blighted maps. You can just get it from regular blighted maps. And of course, the intention here is that now that there's a lot of mirrored amulets floating around from this crafting system, you don't feel like you're missing out on an anointment by using one of those.
Owler asks, is there a plan for the quarry or glacier run to the tablet mirror and not kill monsters? This is like quarry farming mirror. How does the mirror spawn? Like the tablet spawn, I should say.
My understanding is that the mirror tablet does not spawn if you are massively over level for the area, which is what we've done for years with this kind of stuff. That may mean that you can essentially assemble pre-map tablets, right? I'm not sure of the exact, like how punitive we've come down on that, but they won't have the various reflections that can occur in map content. So by playing pre-map ones, you can't itemize them, you have to run them on the spot, because to stress, map and above tablets are itemizable. Campaign ones have to be played as you complete them. So it's not a good way of farming for trade value that way. Having said that, you may be able to still run quite a lot of tablets just for the regular rewards from them.
They have a full change
Yeah,
of
we've
that.
mostly seen low-level farming
The patch
methods
notes aren't
like
yet, are they,
that
Temper?
pay out
Or
when
Tugan?
the mechanic rewards a lot of generic currency.
They're really not saying a whole
Do you
lot
think
here.
that'd be the case here, or
I mean, the encounters are
vice
rewarding, of course, but
Yeah.
the rewards are generally themed around the type of content it is, right? Like if you're playing a breach encounter, you're getting splinters and that kind of stuff as your reward from that, which of course is, fungible with generic currency. You can certainly trade that. But my advice would be just push onto maps and actually play
patch notes are
properly,
not
and
yet.
you'll get plenty of tablets. Like, we're not in a map starvation kind of system at the moment. Like, you've got drifts of white maps to play if you really want an easy encounter.
Speaking of mapping, let's talk about some endgame improvements, in particular the Atlas memory system. What sort of goals did you have with this new system? They seem like they would help with both pacing of the endgame mapping, but also creation of like a story thread to follow between chunks of maps. not much else is happening potentially.
The Atlas memory stuff is really cool, actually. Like, I'm low-key as excited for this as I am for the actual league itself. It's just that because they're quite endgame and, you know, moderately rare, it's something that only, you know, people that actually get into red maps and stuff will be interacting with, so it's not quite as broadly applicable as the league. But the important part is we promised that every expansion we're doing until Path of Exile 2, we're going to try to make some improvement to the endgame. And so this is an alternate way of playing through content you're familiar with, but with a twist. And we've designed these to be fun, rewarding, and kind of crazy. Like, we're low-key hoping that certain team members don't actually check these out before release, so we can release them in a really punchy way, because I get the feeling that the fun police may try to turn a few of them down. So an example was I was playing one yesterday where I was asked, can you please try this one and let me know if you think it's over the top? And I join that one, and the theme of it is that there are gangs of rogue exiles that you find like in roaming packs that are trying to hunt you down. And the map I played had 100 rogue exiles in it. Now I can't promise it's going to release with that number, but it was certainly nuts. And so I kind of want to emphasize these aren't incredibly common in maps, right? Like, you do have to play a bunch of maps to find one. And because there are a bunch of different types of them individually, it's hard to actually get the one you want. And so because of that, we can just go a bit overboard with the rewards. Like, we can do crazy stuff, and it lets us also, like, here's a key thing with the endgame stuff this year. You have to juice your Atlas to get full rewards from content. And that means that if you want to try out, what is it like to have some silly breach stuff going on, you have to go and specialize your Atlas in breach, and that requires a bunch of respecking. With Atlas memories, you can just go and find a breach memory, and that's essentially fully juiced for the most part. Like, obviously it varies from one to one, but our goal here is you are not missing out on anything by not specializing, because your Atlas doesn't apply to it.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
And so you get some pretty nuts stuff going on.
It's got a +2 frenzy.
Some of them make you feel like a god power-wise. Like, there are ones who are entirely about some cool thing happens to you and you get to go and experience what that's like. You'll see some situations you don't normally see otherwise. There's some really cool stuff in here I kind of don't want to spoil, because I'm looking forward to the moments on Twitch streams where people find these that everyone's like, what is happening here?
Great.
Yeah, and of course it's a good opportunity to explain the backstory of NPCs, right? Like, an example is one of the people here who has Atlas memories. In fact, I can talk about who has them. In this set of Atlas memories, it's Carrick and Alva and Einhar and Nico are the 4 that we went with. And this means we can do more in the future with other NPCs. But everyone loves Einhar and his craziness, and his interaction with these things that he barely understands himself, but certainly wants to make friends with all the beasts in, is quite cool. And for someone like Carrick, for example, he's running the military side of the Atlas exploration, and he's got a vast backstory of what happened leading up to his, ability to have this role at the moment. So this explores a few of the things he's done in his youth and interesting things he's encountered in all the mapping that he's done.
I'm really excited that you're expanding out like the lore and story of the endgame stuff, because we mentioned synthesis earlier with Calandra, but that was another big part of synthesis, is it had a ton of lore for like characters and mapping and stuff like that has kind of disappeared. So it's cool that we're getting something back.
Synthesis is actually quite important canonical Atlas lore to a large extent.
Yeah.
And, it's not off the cards to bring synthesis back. Like, us doing Lake of Calandra doesn't mean we're not going to potentially do that. It's just that these leagues happen to be moderately similar, so it does scratch the itch a bit, but in a much more accessible way.
Cool. All right. You mentioned that this mechanic also helps a bit with like the concept of Atlas passage tree lock-in. Have you also given any thought to the idea of like separate Atlas tree loadouts or separation between characters and their different trees?
Yeah, this is one of those difficult challenges where there's a lot of reasons why we can't trivially just say, look, here are multiple Atlas trees and so on. In principle, this idea is not something we're in opposition to, right? Like, if people want trade to be a lot easier, we'll sit there on our little throne and tell them in detail about how wrong they are. But for this, we sympathize with the concept that people want to have multiple Atlas trees because they're running multiple characters in that league, or they want to have different loadouts and so on. But there are no changes at this stage related to it. It's something we'll keep discussing.
The Atlas memories give all of their maps for free. You like craft them in their little window and everything, which seems like a nice buff to map progression. Sustain's not really too hard these days, but still getting those initial unlocks is good. Do these count as like your Atlas completion when you do these maps?
Yes. I should note, though, they only spawn in quite high-tier maps, and they are quite valuable. So you're probably going to have large completion by the time you get them. This is not a thing where you're completing your white maps with it. Like, I forget the exact tier they kick in at, but it might be like tier 14, for example, like a red map kind of thing. There's certainly very endgame, very juicy stuff. Now, you have to apply it to a completed map, but the ones that it snakes out through, which generally goes up tiers rather than down where it can, my understanding is that can go through uncompleted maps and does give you completion for completing them. Now, I haven't actually fact-checked that. That's more of a, this is how it's meant to work. And so, you know, we'll confirm. Like, we'll announce if it is not going to work like that. But my understanding is it should do.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds like these are going to be really
do the
strong,
memories
but they're going to take
like,
a while to get.
avoid each other on the physical atlas? And does that mean you can do some weird like memory blocking or something like that by applying multiple memories?
We looked into that, but instead we made it so that they can fully overlap each other. You can apply multiple memories to exactly the same starting map if you want to. They can go on exactly the same path. I mean, they probably won't because they snake randomly. And again, to emphasize it, you should expect these to not be particularly easy to get.
Giga-juice memories on
yes, people
one
will
map.
have multiple running at once occasionally, but they probably had to trade to get those.
But you can't really
it would be
choose the map.
Rare for a person to have multiple concurrently going based on naturally finding them.
How do you get them, by the way? Are they just a random drop?
Yep, they drop. Not often.
Yep.
Okay, now expectations are set.
Very good. What happens if you fail, and can you fail, I guess? The Atlas memory map things.
I mean, you can certainly run out of portals, but you can still play the next one in the sequence. So it gives you your entitlement of having the ability to try to go for the rewards of each one. Now, if you do fail out and don't have any portals left, or you die in hardcore, you're not getting the drops that you would from the rest of the encounter, obviously, so that sucks. But yeah, technically you can still go and play the harder ones, but I don't see how you're going to do any better at the harder ones in the sequence, because they ramp up a lot.
True. Maybe you just had a bad day in one particular map.
Yep.
Will there be any changes to the Atlas passive tree for the 3 league mechanics that have been changed?
That's a good question. So, my understanding is that we did change it, right?
Beyond. I just want to see patch notes.
So less so for Arch Nemesis, but for Harvest and Beyond, there were changes related to the passives. I don't think we released the Atlas tree before release.
Harvest
I'm not
has
sure.
changes?
That's a good question as well. So either way, it's changes in line with the theme of what we've been doing with these leagues, so it's not going to be too surprising.
Okay. The Tower of Ordeals, the ultimatum boss fight, yeah, it's back. It's created from difficult endgame Val content was the terminology. Is this like Val temple maps or is it something else?
We want people to work it out. Like, it's a variety of stuff. So to be clear about how this works, you do several pieces of content, you get some pieces that you can put together, like making Harbinger uniques, you place them next to each other in the inventory, and it's, you know, go play some Val content, see what drops, post it on Reddit, you know, it won't be too hard to work out.
It's gonna be like a new fragment set or something for these. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I should clarify with that Atlas tree question, the details will probably be in the patch notes that we're posting as soon as we finish talking, so people won't have long to wait.
Okay, cool.
It sounds like there's some there's like some sort of creation process here. Does that mean we can influence the roles on the map in any way, or are those random and we get what we get?
It spawns random roles, but it's corrupted, so you can't influence it. So that means if you want to try to get good mods on it, you'll have to, of course, complete said Val content many times.
All right. On new and rebalanced uniques now, we asked about the ring, so I can skip that one. But is the lower drop rate of uniques global, or is it specific to the newly buffed uniques? And does it affect unique drops from specific bosses at all?
So it doesn't affect guaranteed boss drops. It is a global change, but we've gone through and reassessed the rarity of each unique. Like, we've kind of taken the old system, put it to one side, gone through every unique and said, why is this
has to be
quite
the
rare?
price
Shouldn't
of
it be common?
essentially
and so on
like
and so
the
on.
best ring in the
and
game.
Overall,
that's
this means that you
know,
are finding fewer uniques per
that's
hour
what
that
you
you
use
play.
for.
But the difference between uniques is quite
that's gonna be a chase
staggering.
item.
Like, I would much rather find one item per time period that I can actually use or has some trade value, rather than, and hypothetically, a bit more than one item, which is probably useless. And so it does feel quite different now. And yeah, no one likes to hear the drop rates have been reduced, but the game was really spamming you with uniques, and it's probably gone over the top. And that's because we don't post in the patch notes every time we implicitly increase the drop rate of uniques in the past. We just happen to increase it too much.
When you make a change like this, do you think, people are going to have less alks? And then like change the drop of alks or something? Or
there were other currency items I was focusing on this league.
Indeed.
Divines are gonna be expensive.
So you've got a long list of uniques getting changed here, but as mentioned, that there are just many more in the game. There's so many.
Crafters
now.
are gonna need a lot of divines.
I think that whenever you do like a big list of buffs like this, and the buffs themselves are pretty substantial for the most part. People can feel a bit sad about whatever ones didn't make the cut, for example. I don't think I saw Voltaxic in that picture. Sad. Is there any plans to give like similar treatment to more uniques in the future then?
Yeah, we will be. We plan to iterate on more uniques and other expansions. We're just not sure of the timing of it. I mean, we've done unique revamps in the past. This was an expansion where we happened to have balanced capability lying around in the unique department that we could use for this, and it felt like the right time for it. So yeah, expect more improvements, but we're not promising that we'll do every other unique.
No, have to drop in price because they aren't going to be used for crafting.
People want to know what the process is for creating unique items.
They're going to inherently be less valuable, so the price is going to have to drop.
Of the community and how that's all going.
One of the main things you use Exil's for is crafting items with the bench.
We have been running a league launch race.
That's where all the Exalts get eaten up.
Couple of leagues. And the way that works is that historically, for the last two, people who were the first to kill all of the Uber Pinnacle bosses got ranked in order and then had the ability to design unique items. And that's resulted in some really cool stuff, like the Zizaran gloves that are in this expansion and a bunch of ones in the last one. But we ran into some problems. The first problem was that the same people are having to make the same uniques, and while they have won the competition multiple times, the same people are getting the same amount of uniques, which isn't a problem from a fairness point of view because they're winning the competition, but it's a problem when Ben gets to make like half a dozen or something like that because he will run out of ideas after a while. In addition, these content creators, and they're often content creators who are winning these because of skill and so on, often don't have the time to actually fully engage with our design team in the relatively time-consuming process of making these because there's other things happening. And so we only had one out of a backlog of I think 6 or 7 pending uniques actually make it in. And so we're going to be putting a bit of a deadline on it where the creators who still have uniques pending there. We're going to release them in the next expansion with or without their input. Ideally, they will. We're contacting them basically, but yeah, ideally you've got months to actually go and get it, the process finished. But we are planning to actually release these because the players want their uniques, and we're going to give them. So the earlier and faster you can work with us, the more stuff we get in. Now we will be running another race event at the start of this league where there are some cool prizes, and we'll be talking about that this week, but we're not going to be giving out more unique design slots at this stage, partly because we still have a whole bunch we need to finish. And so we found some other cool stuff that people will probably enjoy, and we'll post about it in the news this week.
All right, get on it, eh? Get on it, guys. All right, let's talk about some skills and support jam stuff.
Actually,
Alchemist Mark is one of the new revealed.
I don't think this is going to affect. I think this is better for more players.
Flash charge generation off what used to be on poachers, I believe. Or I can't remember which one it was.
Divines are going to go up in price, and Exalts are going to go down.
It also creates a ground effect based
on
like the
drop
biggest ignite or poison on an enemy. This seems very good for like ignite builds or big single hit
similar
poison
value
builds,
now.
It doesn't seem very useful for most poison builds,
as to where you would only be waiting for
a lot of smaller
forever.
poisons.
You'd be like, oh, I got Divine, I guess that's okay. Now you'd be like, oh, I got Divine, that's cool. And you
the goal here wasn't to just say all poison builds have an extra thing that they have to stack on in addition to everything else. The goal here was to enable builds to exist that use single big poisons and ignites. So we're trying to open up more space here rather than just buff an archetype.
Oh, that's true. Like, we saw like the Flame Blast poison stuff. Does that mean Consuming Dark is one of the changed uniques, by the way? It's alright, don't worry.
I think that all the changed uniques are listed in the patch notes. And for reference, I would much rather just say they're in the game, go have fun, but we have listed every change as far as I'm aware. So it's all there. Spoil it,
Wow, so all the uniques are getting spoiled as soon as I finish the Q&A.
Yeah,
let me just stall for a while longer.
We could stop right now and people would have that information, but instead we're going to keep going through the question.
I'm not going to stop until Bex tells me to.
I feel really bad for the person that has to write up all the changes if I was wrong and they aren't listed there and then the community expects them and that's their weekend gone.
X are only going to be for Exalt slamming stuff, basically.
So the new shock skills seem very cool. Though they feel a bit like PoE 2 skills. I've been noticing this a lot lately, where we will have a lot more socket and support freedom in the future. I've noticed this is a bit of a trend with new skills feeling a lot more like combo pieces, and like it really feels like you're butting up against the limitations of the current socket system. Do you feel that when you're designing skills at the moment?
Yeah, we are certainly designing content for PoE 2. I mean, like, this league is designed so it could appear in PoE 2 if we decide to. We're trying very hard to make sure that we are juicing both games at the same time, and that's why from a quality point of view, we want them to be, top-notch, and also, I mean, it means we can produce much higher budget stuff for PoE 1 because we're getting to spend PoE 2 money on it, and it also means that we're able to make sure PoE 2 launches with a much larger stable of content than other action RPGs in that generation will do.
A lot of stuff is going to take on new life when PoE 2 comes out, especially with, like I said, we've got so many of these like combo piece feeling skills that are just so hard to fit in builds at the moment. So
they'll find places. Like our team are very excited about these.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
could be more valuable on Exalts.
Overcharge support, I
Yeah,
really like
I mean,
the
they
idea
could
of it.
end
Is
up
there any
being. I think it's
concern
going
that
to
it
take
could
a while
become like a
for the traditional
universally
markets to
used
adjust to
damage
that.
scaling tool?
But
I've seen
yeah,
this in other games where they've
definitely
had
could
like
be.
a mechanic that you debuff an enemy with so that they take more damage, and the entire gameplay ends up revolving around them. Is this something you're like concerned about here?
So in order to get a good shock value, you don't want to put it in a 2-link with some random skill to shock enemies. You want
It's
to
gonna fuck
actually
up
like
economy,
increase that
yeah, it
damage and
is.
put it in a 4-link.
For
And
sure.
so then you're
I've got a
facing
couple
the
ideas
opportunity
going
cost
right now.
of every other relevant
Of
support
what I'm
general
gonna do
usability
early.
skill you could have in that slot. So, I mean, it will certainly have its place in trying to make good shocks,
exploit
but it's not just something you put
economy.
onto every build just as an afterthought because, you know, there's limited sockets going on there.
Yeah, right now, like, you have the option, I guess, of doing that, but it usually comes at a pretty big opportunity cost. Like, skitterbots, for example, reserving something is a pretty frequently used one. So I guess right now, if it's like, it's hard to get enough power in a build that doesn't really make sense, it's not going to be a problem. I guess it might be something you might have to review in
You're going to
PoE
want
too, when
to use
people can throw a
divines from
6 link at it,
Harvest.
even if
Lucky
they're like a melee
divines
build or
and stuff.
something where it doesn't make much sense.
Instead of
otherwise.
regular divine orbs.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm avoiding commenting on the availability of 6 links in that content, but people shouldn't make assumptions.
I mean, as far as everyone's concerned at this point, we're all getting a 6 link on every single skill. Not a
Instantly,
problem.
on the beat.
Yep.
A whole lot.
Thank you for all the 6 links. Well, speaking of 6 links, we've got the return of Tainted Fusings.
Buying Exalts early, depending on what it looks like, you could buy Exalts or Divines early.
Easier, unique availability on corrupted items is like a awesome stepping stone. I'm glad to see you guys brought that back, but is it something you wanted to avoid, or because you know they didn't stay around for a while, but now they're coming back? What are your thoughts on like that and the availability of 6 links in general?
We believe the rate that we've reintroduced them in is going to be safe because they're moderately scarce. It's certainly, you know, they're not dropping all over the place, so it should be fine.
All right, let's talk about the League revamps, in particular Arch Nemesis. I'm very excited to see big changes on the Arch Nemesis side of things. At the risk of putting it bluntly, I think Arch Nemesis implementation last League was not met with a lot of love for many, and it didn't really feel like an improvement to the game overall for some. How was your reaction to the implementation of Archnem, and and the community's reaction to it?
So I played at League launch last time, which is relatively rare because usually we have raging server fires and that kind of stuff that I get to work on. But this time I got to play some Path of Exile, and I got all the way to maps without really feeling any problems with the Arch Nemesis stuff. And so I was a bit like, I had some cognitive dissonance with the feedback, but our design team like agreed with the feedback. Our design team looked at the builds people were playing, looked at the way they were playing, went through it and said, yeah, we need to tone down some problematic stuff here, which is good because I'm glad they're the design team and not me. And so we really feel that Res in the early game felt too hard relative to Res later on. And we made a lot of changes to it in response to the feedback, and obviously that's stuff we should have had in there through more testing prior to the release.
The Tainted Fusing, dude.
But there were some changes specifically around rewards that we wanted to do,
adds a
but
link
weren't
or
fast to
removes a
implement,
link.
so we waited till 3.19, and that's why it's one
So
of
if
the
you have a
revamped
5
leaks here,
link
despite being so
and you put
recent.
a Tainted Fusing
and it
on
was
it,
the ability to go through
it
the
has to be
entire game
corrupted,
and make sure that the
for
rate
one.
that you're encountering rares is appropriate for how difficult they
add
are,
a
and then making
fusing
sure that
on
when
it,
you do have a
it
hard
will,
rare fight, you don't just get a pile of junk, you actually get some really
you
good
could take a
stuff
5
going
link,
on.
hit it
And
with
so
one
now people
Tainted
will
Fusing, and if
hopefully
you get
look
lucky,
forward
it
to
turns into
finding
6 link.
monsters with multiple Arch Nemesis
Super
mods so
easy
that
for
they may
creating
get
6
really
links.
broken conversion stuff.
How aggressive was this reduction in rare monsters applied overall?
It varies. In some cases, there were no changes. Like, for example, the monsters in the actual just areas you walk through are generally relatively low. Like, you can play a map and only encounter a few rares if you haven't juiced it, you know, with old balance values, and that's left unmodified. Of course, you could, if you're lucky, encounter more. But the leagues spammed the ever-loving, like, there were some leagues that gave a lot of rare monsters, Ziggy. Like, we had to turn some down like 6 or 8 times in some cases. And so that's making a big difference. Now you actually have some ability to focus on what mods you're playing against, as opposed to the screen being full of, you know, yellow 1 frame per second death. So yeah, there has been a big reduction for some leagues, and then we've had to compensate. And this is why Beyond and Harvest were 2 that we redid, because we can turn down rares, but you can't turn down rares in Beyond, where the whole point is all the monsters are basically rare, or Harvest, where they have to be rare in order to give the amount of life force they did before. We had to rework systems and balance entirely for those leagues in order to be able to turn the rares down.
Chat's been spamming about Headhunter. How does this nerf Headhunter once again into the dust, Chris?
All these extra mods on rare monsters for you to take, I mean, that's a buff, right? We can't balance the entire game around Headhunter, and it's still a very powerful item.
There you go, chat.
Sure.
How does this change the balance between base gameplay reward and specific league reward mechanics? So I guess now, like, when a rare spawns from a league mechanic, it potentially is dropping its new reward system, whether it's like a bundle of maps or uniques or something like that as well.
Yeah, we want it to be consistent across both. We've had a problem long-term in Path of Exile that isn't fully solved, where the base game has one difficulty and league content has a different difficulty. Like, if you were to fight a monster in an expedition, a white monster, and look at how much life it has compared to just a random zombie walking on the beach one screen over from the base game, there's a pretty big difference there. And we haven't, like, addressed that life difference here. It's quite a large change to go and normalize all that, but we do want it so that league content is appropriately rewarding for its difficulty, but not to the point where you just don't want to play the base game. And so here, a rare monster is a... Leagues have interesting ways of supplying you with rare monsters, often at a higher rate than normal, but hopefully not at an insane rate. The rares are difficult to fight based on how many mods they have, and each additional mod adds more reward. And to be specific about this, so rare monsters themselves drop better items than normal. Each additional Arch Nemesis mod drops more and more items in a multiplicative kind of stacky way. This, of course, all stacks with your player rarity and quantity, which does matter a lot more than before. Then, some of the mods have conversions that occur, and those conversions can stack together. And the goal is that player rarity and quant both affect all of these conversion things. And this means we have internal calculations now where for monster drops like this, your player rarity can actually convert currency items to better currency items. So if you get a currency item drop and you've got a lot of rarity, you're potentially having a higher chance of better currency in there internally. And so we are trying very hard to make sure that killing rares is a very rewarding experience to justify the fact that we made
Sounds like that could be broken.
Like, we don't want to back down on the hardness of the fights. In fact, in some cases with the 4-mod ones, it's a little harder than it was last league. But the rewards are a lot better, and you're not being spammed with.
Question is, how are you going to get an
If there's only one of them on the screen, I'm okay with that. The problem was more like when I couldn't see what was going on.
You have to have a stronger character.
And they're all, and there's a billion poison things trying to bonk me. So I like this. I like what you're doing overall, trying to get Arch Nemesis to fit into the game a lot better. However, I'm still a bit concerned that like many of the specific modifiers or combinations of modifiers that are just not that fun to have in the game might still be a problem. Like for example, the vast array of different styles of effects that slow your character down, except for tricksters, I guess. And like the constant running from like on-death effects and things like that. Has there been much work to like improve or change or remove some of these mechanics?
A lot of the work to remove and address unfun mods was done early in 3.18, but what's worth noting here is, with the way that magic monsters were working until 3.19, they both had the full range of crazy on-death kind of spammy stuff, and often had a different mod each. And so the magic monster changes here are quite impactful, because it means A, there's one mod shared between the group of them, so you read what the mod is and then deal with that mod, and if that means it's on death, you're dealing with some on death on this group, but then you don't have to worry about it on other groups. And it also means that we went through and greatly reduced the amount of stuff like on-death modifiers that you get on magic monsters. A lot more of them are just, I'm harder because I do fire damage kind of stuff now. And so that means that you're not running into the stuff as completely frequently as you were in the past, especially with the reduction of the number of rare monsters.
Chat really wants to talk about melee, so I guess we're going to pause the current topic we're talking on, chat. Here you go, I got you. They want to talk about melee, but I'm not really sure what the specific questions are. So do you have any generic comments on the state of melee in Path of Exile currently? And then maybe I can read some specific questions from chat instead of just spamming melee.
So my interpretation of what chat's asking is that they feel that they would like to see buffs to melee skills.
Me too, yeah, I figure.
Of which we haven't included specific reworks in this expansion, but what I'll do, and this is not a promise, so do not put melee on your internal list for 320, is I will make sure that when we're having our design meetings for 320, this is brought up. There are pros and cons for this, and
so they have a
I was recently having a look at how they're doing melee skills in PoE 2, and you will love that. As much of that as we can get into PoE 1, we will try to do, but bear in mind, one of the major things they have there is an entirely new animation system that lets them do really punchy, cool stuff. And so the future is very bright for melee, and I will make sure, I understand that it's not necessarily about the punchiness of the base skills, it's also about, you know, the builds being viable from a damage point of view and so on. And so I will make sure that we do bring that up with the design team. I will just do a quick dev check to see if there's any thoughts. Anything coming up? Yeah, we're aware people would like us to discuss melee.
You're aware people would like you to discuss a melee.
I don't know. I found this out by reading the patch notes as well.
Something else, maybe?
Radius has an impact, right? Like,
Sure.
It didn't sound bad to me. Maybe I wasn't wanting to be angry that day.
I think the cleave thing is funny because I think what it does is it's not so much that like buffing cleaves radius is a problem and that it's bad, but it highlights for people the idea that it's like, yeah, melee's a problem. Here you go. Here's a little fix, and it's like a breadcrumb. So I think for people that's what it's indicative of.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, so people want to see. People want to see the giga buff that makes them lose their mind.
It is hard when you put together a list of changes to understand that morning the meme that people are going to want changing is melee, and then when you throw a small melee thing out there, it wasn't big enough. Like it makes us look, short-sighted and not reading the room or whatever. It's hard to know 100% what the room wants, and we kind of feel that if we were to poll the community of,
people have
hey,
been
next expansion,
screaming
what
at you
do you want
guys
us
to
do,
buff
that
melee
wouldn't
for like
necessarily align with what we believe
so
the game
many
needs, but a
patches.
bigger picture of what we're trying
It's
to
hard
solve,
to read the
because we are
room.
trying to work like a few leagues ahead in our head about where things are.
Yeah, it makes you look short-sighted.
I mean, it's quite simple, Chris.
You sound
Just
short-sighted right now.
Fix everything.
We will be.
Oh my god, Chris.
PoE 2 folks.
There's a lot of expansions between now and then, so we certainly will continue to improve as much as we can.
Excellent stuff. Going back to the league content a bit, Beyond, so great to see a big Beyond update. It's a lot of people's favorite, despite being very poorly aged. And it's a bit of a beloved mechanic.
That's
and
disheartening.
it's good to see the monsters getting updated. Like you said, they're just painted bandits from Act 2.
I mean,
but
they could
I think
really
there's
just
still
go
going to
in
be a
and
little
make
bit
some
of nostalgia for some of the
really
old bosses.
basic
Will
number
we
buffs.
see them again in some form or
And it would
anything
be
like
something
that?
in the right direction.
For good.
They're gone for good, sorry. They're literally bandits. Like, we made Beyond in like 1.2 or 3, and
Beyond's gone.
we had like 20 people in the company at that stage. Like, we have 20 people in QA now, basically. And we, with a 3-month cycle or whatever we're working to, it was very hard to get that content ready in time. And this is where we're doing 2 challenge leagues at a time. Like, Anarchy was with Onslaught. I forget what was with Beyond. Rampage was with Beyond. So we had to work on 2 leagues at the same time. I understand they were smaller then, but when we needed monsters, the answer was take something, paint it red. And that held up for 8 years. Like, it's kind of embarrassing. Yeah, we're not going to be using those assets again, unfortunately.
Oh, goodbye, Hast. See you, mate. It's
Ted's going hard mode.
So
Cool.
juiced MFM is weaker
Anyway, sorry,
and
carry on.
stronger.
You keep throwing a fine. Well, what's
gonna
going
be
on with
harder
hard
to
mode,
do.
Chris?
Oh, we're
What's
working
going
on
with
that.
hard mode?
We're working on that. No promises, but it's coming along.
All right. When do you
Common
think we
theme
might
here.
hear a little bit more
Common
about hard
theme.
mode?
I mean, in the next few months, you're probably going to hear some stuff. We got to make sure it's like good before we release it.
Fair. Make sure it's good and hard, eh?
Well, I'm now very concerned.
It's interesting to see
We're
that
gonna
you've
see
effectively used
a
Scourge to
Nightblade
update Beyond.
lightning
Was this
strike
always
nerf
the plan?
in the
for
balance.
Scourge?
No, it wasn't actually always the plan. For a while, we were thinking of removing Beyond, but we worked out that we could fix it up. And we wouldn't remove something just because of its art assets, but we also were unhappy. Like, Beyond is a funny league, because when it was initially released as a hardcore league, okay, so when it's always on, and you want to level, and not everyone is great at the game, you have to actually be kind of careful. Beyond has tension. If you trigger too many monsters, you die. And so even, like, for medium skill level players, they had to be careful to not accidentally have Hast all over the place when they were
Fake
playing maps.
unstoppable.
And so my experience playing Beyond way back in the day was kind of fearing it, wanting to engage, like flirting with the edges of it, but often just getting wiped out. And in a hardcore league, that meant a lot of new characters. And then nowadays, where people's clear speed can just deal with Beyond, and they're probably not playing hardcore, and they can control when it's on and just stack it as a juicing mechanic, it's a totally mandatory juicing mechanic where you just have it on your maps where you want to get a lot of extra monsters, and it spawns tons of them. And so it was basically an all or nothing kind of thing. The new version of it is a lot more well considered. It's still a way of juicing your content and getting extra drops, but it's done in a way that's a bit less abusable, and ideally something that people will not feel afraid of using if they do find it challenging.
Abusable.
Previously, this way it spawned monsters was very consistent. It would consistently spawn a rare, and you could kind of like, you just see those like dropping out constantly. Does that change the mechanics of how that works now? Like, I understand the bosses are replaced with Scourge bosses, but how does the like spawning work now comparatively?
Yeah, we've taken that back to the drawing board a bit with making sure that the numbers and so on have been tweaked, and I recommend people just try it out. I don't really want to itemize the exact list of mechanical changes behind
show
the
me
scenes.
the patch notes,
Play
you
the league, see what you
motherfucker.
think, get some good
God
times in.
damn it.
It's different.
This is going to be a shit league.
Chat wants to know how they will get the Steam achievement to kill a Backsith now. Some people are big on achievements, Chris.
It's gone.
Gone. Do people who already got it get to keep it as like a legacy achievement? How does that work? I don't know how that works.
That is a very good question.
Gone.
God.
See you, chat.
This is why you need hundreds of people in a company, because someone is having to worry about that.
Yeah, I would never think of that.
Reddit's just going to be on fire for like days.
Harvest changes. Huge.
Days and days.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We might just see some players who essentially abandon the mechanic returning to it here, maybe, hopefully. Also, like myself, for example. Also, we got the long-awaited change to remove third-party trust trading too. How did these changes come about after all this time?
We had a few issues here. The first one was the observation that, and this may sound a bit hyperbolic, but it's also kind of accurate. You would do a sacred grove, and you would end up with a bunch of trades, and you would then be forced to, on the spot, either you find a bunch of crafts, and you'd be forced to either do those crafts on your items, which involves having some kind of plan for what you're wanting to do, and a whole bunch of understanding, and looking at the wiki, and looking at your path of building, and so on and so on.
It was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was like 30 in some cases, crafts that you could do. Or trade them with people, because if you walk out of that grove without using the craft, you've lost their value. And so it's useful for someone, and so you have to go and like hang around, seeing if someone wants to scam you today, or you want to scam them, or like it was a complete mess. And then
sounds
like, you know, I mean,
like Chris
everyone like, you know, likes to hate on TFT, which was serving a useful function for the community, and it's just like it is better that kind of thing is handled early in the game where possible. So the other problem we had with Harvest was that it had dangerous deterministic crafts, and we feel dangerous from the point of view that for making the best items in the game, you often had to use Harvest. And this meant that there was a system that was a real pain in terms of it interrupts your mapping for half an hour and involves interacting with other humans, and it was kind of mandatory as far as people were concerned for making the best items. And we didn't like that. And so now it's still powerful. It is significantly more streamlined. You basically just do your grove, pick up your currency
still
that you
mandatory
get
to
now,
make the
and
best
think
items,
about it
you
later.
remove that.
And at whatever point you're wanting to craft, you have a look to see if you have enough life force. If you don't, you just go trade for some more using traditional trading tools. If you don't like Harvest, previously you had to engage with it unless you turned it off. Now you can accumulate that life force, and if you need some more chaos, just trade a pile of it for chaos whenever you need to.
It's actually a nerf to
So you have seemingly every option of crafting unlocked at the beginning now. Do you just have to like how do you balance that out for like the really rare powerful crafts? Do you just have different life forces that you have to collect for them, or is it just you've balanced it based on quantity simply?
So pinnacle crafts like the Exalt crafting require you to kill a Shabi to get her life force, and so some of the more valuable ones do require you to go through the the tier 4 beast Shabi chain in order to get the life force, or trade for it, of course. But we have gone through and
a lot of this is nerfs to the high end.
Made changes to what crafts are available. There are some that are gone. Usually ones that didn't have a purpose anymore. Ones that shouldn't really have existed in the first place. Some things have been moved elsewhere, like the special offerings to the goddess you now get from the labyrinth itself, rather than having to go through Harvest to get that. There's some
okay, that's cool.
Like Breachhead stuff comes from the relevant content rather than from Harvest now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So there's not as much shit in Harvest.
Overall, how much has the balance and power of Harvest crafting changed for the will the average endgame player want to engage with it now, do you think?
It's still going to be a good way of improving your items, but I will hopefully see that it isn't mandatorily listed on the plan to get every single best item with rare crafting before. There's subtle changes here now. Previously, one of the good crafts you could get was the ability to exalt a mod. That's now a null exalt, and so you lose a mod before you gain one. And so there's a bit less determinism in it. You can still have good outcomes, but it does involve quite a lot more risk than before for some of those ones.
Frostdata asks what happens to their currently stored crafts that they have at the moment, banked. All their thousands of exalt items.
You can now, which isn't too bad, but
now.
Oh, frenzy, let's go.
I believe that you should use them before the league, or before the new league comes out.
Okay.
I know. I'm looking at
stuff that can't be made in the future.
Harvest Expedition.
All right, have fun.
Still.
will harvest monsters still Omega Barrage me when I click the button, Chris?
The monsters are spawned in staggered waves over a short period now, so it doesn't take long for them to all to be spawned, but they won't spawn physically in the same frame.
Great.
And as I mentioned, we've
that's so
rebalanced the
good,
fights
actually.
to have fewer rares and better composition and so on. So
Okay,
it's not
Harvest
gonna
is
be
gonna be
quite so
insane.
dangerous.
Yeah, Harvest is looking
That's
good.
fantastic. It was one of the most egregious examples of that left in the game, I think, after like various other things have been improved. It's good to hear. Minion builds. We're seeing a lot of changes to minion builds, from skill rebalancing, necromancer changes, a lot of itemization changes. There's some stuff, really good stuff in there that seems really good, like the itemization stuff I'm really excited about. But some of the other stuff, like necromancer's rework, being met with concern. I'm not really sure about everyone else, but I have a hard time picturing the overall state of things with all of these changes put together. Can you kind of like lay it out for us, Chris?
So necromancers are now like other Path of Exile builds. Your build strength is moderately proportional to how good. Before, you could, to some extent, get the skills, level them up, not really care about your items, and still have some degree of competence. And that ability to get into the end game without actually having to find items was,
even though it's on the screen
you could
right
view
now.
it charitably as, a tutorial for the game or something like that, but it really meant that there was a whole group of characters that weren't having to really engage with what Path of Exile was meant to be about. Finding really good items to improve your character and getting rewarded for it. We also felt that minion characters were just not good enough. Like, we felt that at the end game, they could be more powerful. And the problem is the way to make them more powerful was buff the skills. But it's one of the things where we wanted them to be better, but we didn't want to buff their skills. And so we've realized that by giving far more itemization options, it's now possible for them to be significantly better.
So many things
than
he's
before.
saying is
And
like,
so,
God, he's stressing me out, man.
It's one of those things where we've taken everyone defaulting from a 7 out of 10, and now they default to a 3 out of 10 like everyone else, but they have the ability to become a 10 out of 10. The other subtlety to it is,
Not up yet.
previously the Necromancer and Ascendancy skills were where you got a lot of your power, and we've essentially moved a lot of power now to your items. This means that if you're playing a minion build, you don't have to play a Necromancer, because it's not quite as powerful as before, because the power's been made up elsewhere on items, and other Ascendancy classes get access to the items. You now have the ability to play a variety of different Ascendancy classes and still play a minion character.
We're going to scoot things along pretty quickly now, chat, because we are running out of time a little bit. But talking about Exalted and Divine changes, chat's been asking a lot about Divines and Divine Shards. Is there any
Harvest Beast grabs host for alternate Legion?
We're not planning to add shards. This is along the lines of the reason why we don't want gold in the game is because we don't want there to be a single homogenous trade currency that's, you trade 70,000 of these for that item and that's what it's worth. So we're very, very careful to not add shards for the big ticket items that can be easily got. The motivation behind the changes here is that we would like people to be using Exalt more. The ability to actually craft with Exalt would be nice. We all feel that by having Divine be comparatively rarer, then the mods on items actually matter. When you find a unique or a rare with good rolls, that's something which, yes, you can still change it with Divines, but it is actually a more important thing. And so it's in line with having wider ranges on some of these things that we've revamped. You can find some very powerful versions of them. So we want to make sure that Divines aren't quite as common. We really shouldn't have been handing out Divines through a vendor recipe in the way that we were, but at least with this change here, we can make sure that it comes, we aren't changing the drop rate of any of these. The result is players will not be able to divine their items as much as they would before, and they can exalt their items probably quite a lot more than they could before, due to the fact that the trade value won't be so prohibitively high for exalts.
Yeah,
well,
see?
Yeah, it makes
see, guys, that's what I was saying. You guys are saying,
crafting would
Chris,
be
there,
like
Chris said it too. Trade value's going to be lower for
finish it
exalts.
off, but they were the reverse way around in terms of value.
So you're going to have Divines and
the result of
exalts,
Exalt
similar
being
levels.
so valuable was that they would never get right-clicked. So do you think that's going to change dramatically? Do you think Exalts are going to be worth like 7 chaos or something?
I don't know the ratio and I don't want to speculate, but yeah, I would expect that it's going to change the values of trade for items. But Path of Exile is already good at that and capable of dealing with the fact that the stuff is arbitrary in the first place.
Great. Rise QT asks,
look at the screen.
With Divines becoming a lot more rare,
Look at
obviously, what's going to happen to Divine Vessels? And there's a recipe to make those. Are they going to still be very rare, or are they going to be made more common to help?
The recipe's unchanged.
We haven't changed the recipe at this stage.
A very expensive recipe now, potentially.
Wait, what did you just say? I missed
Something
it.
to think about, maybe?
Approximately equivalent to... Divines will be worth approximately what Exalts were before in terms of difficulty getting them.
Probably a similar value. Oof. 110C Divine Vessel recipe.
Hold on, Chris. 1 second.
We've got some misc questions here. Chat folks ask, Confirm that MTXs don't deal damage or pick up items themselves. Yes.
That's correct. Like, the new MTX are exciting because they look like they're going to help you in the gameplay, but they really don't, right?
That's
like,
a trick.
Yeah.
This is like the best trick that you can pull is like make them look like that. Oh,
I'm waiting for someone
some
to
sort
write
of
into-
advantage, but
Yeah,
they're not.
I'm waiting for someone to write into customer support, all angry about the fact they thought they were going to be able to like cheat by buying these micros. We do try to make it clear that it's just cosmetic, but they certainly do quite exciting things. Where if those things were real, then like exploding on death and killing the monsters would certainly be something special.
I've been curious about PoE Mobile.
Divine
It's been all
Vessel.
quiet on that
That's
front
nice.
until today's Exilecon announcement. How's development been going? And if you're happy to speak about it, is it still aiming to be quite a different experience to PoE Desktop, or is it going to be like a direct port, or how are you kind of progressing there?
Progression's going good. Yeah, we've got a lot to show, and we're saving that up for Exilecon next year. The direction is what we talked about before. I don't know if I described it as quite a different experience. Like, there's certainly like mobile versions of games that play like mobile games, and ours is trying to represent as much of the full PC experience as we can do while still actually being playable on a phone. And so, I mean, the ability to go and get a bunch of items, go do, build a character, go and do some maps is...
The focus on endgame changes lately. Is there still plans to rework the acts as was started briefly?
That requires a lot of work.
Buffering.
And we are finding better value improving everything else in the game. I think there'll be some light progress on that, but it's not a major priority for us internally at the moment.
All right. Well, sorry we can get to all of your questions, chat. I appreciate you asking them, though. Chris, thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure to chat to you today. I look forward to checking out the new expansion.
Thanks very much for hosting.
You going to play at launch this time, depending on the amount of players?
All right. Yeah, this is a good one.
Great. All right. Thank you very much, folks. Cheers.
Patch notes. Patch notes. Patch notes. Patch notes. Patch notes. It's time. Alright guys, so that was interesting. They've definitely shaken things up quite a lot, and I think maybe not in a good way, but we'll see. I'm not too upset about a lot of those changes. Let's just see what happens with patch notes. Patch notes error, bad gateway. Looks like they're dropping it right now. Alright, let's see. Let me turn this on. Put some music back on. I don't know. What do you guys think? Website crash. Yeah, they're probably having to. I don't know if it's crashed or they'll have it back up in a second. Patch notes. Patch notes. Where's my? Let me turn on playlist here. Okay. August expansion reveal. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Can you post the link? Yeah, I'll post the link in a second. Announcements. Yeah. It's down right now, so I can't get a hold of the link. Hold on. I do not like the changes. What I don't like is their reasoning behind the change and how disconnected some of them feel. Yeah, overall not too bad. Some great stuff, questionable stuff, but I think it's gonna be a good league. Yeah, the mechanic seems pretty cool. Yeah, I don't mind the mechanic. It's not my favorite type of mechanic, but it'll be okay. Forum.
Right.
PoE.
I hate. Dude, like, you have to craft now.
I'll let you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I think they're up. Yeah, they're up.
Okay.
I think the change is gonna be better for.
Boys.
All right. I'll see you later. Good luck.
They're ending and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what I'm looking at too. Let me put this in motion.
Right, without me leaking anything.
Announcements. Bad gateway.
Let me fix my camera. Here we go.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not gonna watch too much here. We're just gonna wait. We're gonna wait till it's up. I'll keep refreshing on the other screen here. What do you guys think, though? What do you guys think? I'm not too upset. Happy overall. We've seen so far. I mean, I'm a little disappointed about like the Beyond changes. Kind of a bummer, but honestly, I didn't really like doing juice mapping anyway. It was just kind of necessary. And I didn't really do a whole lot of it anyway to ever make money, so it's not that big a deal for me. I'm a little concerned about the Exalt Divine changes, but I don't really care one way or the other. It's just going to be difficult figuring things out for the economy. Things that were interesting were the harvest changes. I'm a little bit worried that some of the really powerful ones have been removed. Which I think he said, which I want to look at the patch notes because I'm not sure if it's going to be possible to craft 12 link stuff anymore with the changes. Which would be really, really lame. Bye-bye seismic. What are you basing that off of, Panzer? Lack of melee buffs in the future makes me sad though. He sidestepped that one real hard. Yeah, that one was quite sad. If there's a nerf to Lightning Strike Nightblade here and no buffs to anything else, I'm gonna be pretty fucking sad. I'm gonna be playing a weaker version of Bone Shatter, farming simulacrums or something. But whatever. If that is the case, I'm not gonna be terribly, terribly upset. It'll be kind of okay. The main thing I'm worried about is, I don't know. The main thing I'm worried about is what's gonna happen with some other stuff. Seismic nerfed and notes? Where are the notes? The website's not up yet. Do you have access to the patch notes, Panzer? Because I don't think anybody else does right now. Pat the Math is reading them? What the fuck? Where did he get them? Okay, they're on Reddit. There you go. This page would load. Looks like this page is about to crash too. Seismic's dead. Oh yeah, I need to go to YouTube and take down my post or make that one video private for now. Content. Private. So. Alright. This page is not loading. Looks like their website is down. Oh man, this is a shit show. Anybody get on him? Get on him yet? The paste bin you put is the patch notes? There we go. Alright, skip to patch notes for now. What do we got here? No Nightblade? No Nightblade? Wait, hold on. Fix the bug where Lightning Strike you hit a single target twice from one attack. Okay, so you don't get double hit anymore. That's not that big a deal. I mean, it's kind of a big deal, but that was kind of abuse anyway. You didn't need it. No Nightblade change? What? Okay, okay. Sorry guys, we'll get to the actual patch notes now. I also don't want to read them in this like scuffed format, but see if we can. It's kind of like it's kind of difficult to read this. Let me zoom maybe. Can I zoom? I can't zoom. Okay, whatever. Crashes every time. Yeah. Alright, let's see. We'll go through. We'll start from the top here. I don't see any Lightning Strike or Nightblade nerfs except for the fix to the double hit, which is a rare bug fix, which is kind of fine. That doesn't kill it at all. Okay. You will travel, blah blah blah, you will play, blah blah blah, okay. Add a new intelligence skill game, Galvanic Field, okay, Overcharge, this is what we saw already. Alchemist Mark, looked really good for Poisonous Concoction. 5 new ring base types. Where are the 5 new ring base types? When buying... Okay, when buying items from a vendor or using crafting and currency, items are now taken from your character's inventory and any stash tabs you have opened in the current instance. Followed by the first step. Okay, we don't really care about that. I want to get to some of the actual stuff here. I don't want to make this a super long video. Lowered number of magic, rare and magic monsters encountered through various league mechanics. Lowered number of rare monsters spawned in Summit, Gardens, Basilica, map boss encounters. Okay. Lowered the number of rare monsters spawned in Doriani's Machinarium and in the Coward's Trial. Okay. So down everywhere. The ritual tribute from sacrificing rare monsters has been increased. Okay, because there's less of them. Yep. The immune response now causes blights. Your map spawns 50% more non-unique monsters. Okay, so less rare monsters across the board here. Map spawn 50 spent. Ooh, nerf to Abyss. Dude, this is just a nerf to like juiced maps. That's kind of fine. I'm kind of okay with this, actually. Rare monsters you encounter will only have 1 or 2 modifiers. Okay, that's good. Is this up yet? I'd rather read it in like a more digestible format here, if I can. No change. To paste in a word processor or adjust font size. It's. I'm just gonna wait until the other one's back up. We're not really getting to 2. I was amazed that Lightning Strike is no Lightning Strike, no Nightblade nerf. So I know what I'm gonna be playing, man. Thanks for streaming the announcement today. Sorry for being such a big baby. I wish this game would be more rewarding, but I have to accept the truth. It never will. Best wishes, man. Alright, little dove. Yeah, no problem, dude. It's not that bad, man. It's not that bad. A lot of these changes actually make endgame less... The ceiling is less high for what you can do in endgame now. Which I'm kind of okay with, because I didn't really like doing juice stuff anyway. Because they've essentially nerfed the shit out of a lot of super juice farming stuff now. A lot of these passive notables, a lot of the rare monster stuff. You know, running around with a headhunter on an MF character in fucking Crimson Temple is going to be not as good anymore. But I didn't really like doing that anyway, because you gotta sit there and trade for sextants and all that crap like a ridiculous amount. It's kind of a pain. Anyway, get back to these. Valley of Darkness has been removed. Is that the... Is that the rare monster? Additional rare monster mod? What was Valley of Darkness? They did say IIR and IIQ is buffed, so I don't know. Yeah. MF is probably still good, but you're not gonna see as much of it, I don't think, in the way that you saw with juiced Crimson Temple farming like this past league and M3 and other leagues and stuff like that. And it's definitely not going to be as easy to do because you're going to have a more powerful character because you're going to be getting much less headhunter buffs. So your character's going to be more powerful. You're not going to be able to just slap a headhunter on anything, I don't think, and go. But we'll see. Following monster modifiers can no longer appear on magic monsters. Okay, I don't really care about that. I never paid too much attention to what they were. I just got pissed off when they killed me. Prismatic. What do we have here? I just want to keep updating this. Maybe that our Beyond is out. Scourge is back in. For Beyond, we know that. Solution. Monster with Sentinel and Malevolent. Okay, I'm just jumping around here a little bit, but Beyond portals now spawn Scourge demons instead of the old Beyond bandits. Okay. and only one faction will appear at a time. Okay, so Scourge, which they are going to drop Tainted Currency, which is really good for 6-linking stuff, and we're going to be more fusings from 6-link vendor recipes. So this is going to bring down the cost of 6-linking. So you get Tainted Currency items in your Exotics tab. Okay, jumping around here. Okay. Scent of Blood no longer grants... Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, guys, Beyond is dead. Beyond is super dead. Harvest, rather? Okay, I was very interested in these. This is... Okay, I want to see what they removed. This is one thing I was very interested in. So Harvest changed. We changed Harvest. That's all that said. Oh wait, are we back? Are we back? Oh. Okay. Ooh, okay, all your Harvest graphs are getting deleted, by the way, guys. So Harvest bosses are encountered more frequently, so you can get the big rewards more frequently, blah 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 blah. Dedication, have a chance to drop from reward chests in lab. Infused debris shed maps, lures, and infused engineer's orbs no longer attainable. No longer grants. Map contains additional harvest. It said no. Sacred gravity maps 50% chance. Okay. Don't really care too much about that. The Bountiful Harvest, 10% chance to spawn an additional monster. Okay. I didn't see anything about them removing augments or nulls. Well, really it's just augments, right? They didn't. So they didn't remove augments then? Leo's betrayals research save us. They're no longer. Okay, that's Leo. But this is under Harvest. Wait, is this Harvest or no? Attachments are up. Still not working for me. Trying again here. I'm confused. Leo's betrayal research. Okay, there we go. Nope. It's just crashing over and over again. I'm like rereading this just because I don't know if they removed augment. I don't think they removed augment, right? Doesn't really specify what they removed. Well, they moved a bunch of stuff out of Harvest. They removed it from Harvest, but the only thing I'm concerned about is if they removed augment stuff. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Anyway, 2 Divine Orbs now for these. 1 Divine Orb, so straight up swap there from Divine to Exalts, or Exalts to Divines with the meta crafting. Now have the same cost. Okay. So yeah, we're anticipating a big jump in price to Divine Orbs, guys. Big jump in price to Divine Orbs there. Carbon Shaco drop rate increased? I saw that. Okay. Okay, so they did increase Venter's Gamble drop rates, so that'll kind of cut down on the price. The price is going to be crazy still, depending on how much they've increased it. Bestiary rerolls. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Oh, wait. No. 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 Dude, their website is getting bombed right now. Cheap construction, replica cheap construction. Oh god, what is this? Rebalance of unique items? Oh god, man, this is gonna be so hard to read. I'm not gonna read through all of these right now. I'm kinda gonna look at the big items. So there's a replica in here. Okay, they just straight up removed all these items from the game. Okay. No longer has +1 Skellies on Alvarons. Where's the patch notes? The anvil unique item, chance to block. I don't see anything too interesting here. East for Shaw, replica Bitter Dream. So, okay. I'm just gonna skim over these real quick. I'll look at like if we see anything too interesting. Patch notes. Okay, there we go. Finally up. Okay, so where were we? Rebalance of unique items. Okay. Okay, so this is where we were. Ash color. I'm just skimming over these. Bitter Dream unique. Okay, there are some replica changes, which is interesting. Bringer of Rain, socketed by level 30 melee physical damage. Wow. And blind. That's kind of crazy. Nothing there. Bronze Lith, we've seen that one. Chalice of Horrors. I don't want to get too into each one of these. Corpse Walker unique boots. Or regenerate. So no longer increased damage, but now you get regenerate and move speed. Let me scroll down a little bit here. Theory's Truth no longer adds and has instead it now has bow attacks have Calling Strike. As long as they didn't fuck with the, that's actually fine, Temper. The crit multi is nice to have instead of the fizzed attacks. Really, you just want it for the, preservation and efficiency from precision, so as long as they didn't change that, I'll be fine with it. The dex is actually nice. The dex is nice to have. It's kind of just a little bit of a trade-off in damage there. The crit multi is nice to have. But losing the fizz damage attacks does hurt a little bit, but it's still fine. As long as it still has the, no longer has... Okay, Deer Stalker got hit here. I'm not gonna go through all these, it's just gonna take way too long. Gale Sight. So Brittle Chance is up there, probably to counteract the nerf to Brittle. Heartbreaker, Heat Shiv. Yeah, I'm not gonna go through all these, there's just way too much to read here. Okay. So no longer has fizz damage to attacks, or cold damage to attacks, that's fine. Or leeches life. Yeah, that's kind of a bummer. Bow attacks have Calling Strike, and it now also has... See, this crit multi is... We're crit, so this kind of counteracts. A little bit less damage, But as long as it still has crit multi, or as long as it still has the precision reservation efficiency, it's fine. That's really the whole reason you wanted it. Kintsugi here. If you have not been hit recently. Wow. 35% damage taken if you have not been hit recently. And 100% increased evade rating if you have been hit recently. Dude, Kintsugi is crazy. 35% less damage taken. Holy shit. Yo guys, Trickster Kintsugi, man. Holy crap. That one's nuts. I'm kind of going through here and I'm gonna look at some of the highlights. Let me know if you guys like find anything crazy, because I'm just skimming it over and trying to look out for like some of the bigger name uniques here, see if there's anything crazy happening, because this is just way too much to read right now. Meganoids, Monogloss Grass, Yamus. This Nycta's lantern looked kind of nuts too. Obliteration Wand, Prism Weave, Replica, Prism Weave. But there's so much stuff here. This is gonna take forever to go through. Rigwald's Charge, yeah. Just trying to see. I'm just going through here. Southbound. Oh my god. Look at that buff. Yeah, straight up double damage to southbound there. All these are pretty good. Vol's Vision, Victoria's Sight. So a lot of these were the underused one. I don't see too many buffs to... Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back through those later, but I want to get out some different stuff. So a lot of underutilized uniques there. I didn't see any too many big names, really heavily used uniques. Let me just again through here. I didn't see some things I was looking for was like Obscurantis, some other stuff. Yeah, I didn't see that or anything else. Okay. It's kind of troll that they started everything off with the Obscurantis. Yeah. This is really a lot of the weaker ones. Okay. Faded uniques. Okay. So this is more. Faded uniques can no longer require a special, have been moved to a base version of that unique. Rebalance of unique section. Okay, that's kind of old news. Defense balance. Okay, this was more in-depth changes to spell suppress. We saw this in the manifesto. Flesh and Stone stuff here. Arctic Armor stuff. Okay. Did you see Lightning Strike? No, I haven't seen Lightning Strike yet. I saw the bug fix for Lightning Strike. Let me just get down to that real quick, because that is what I'm concerned about. 30% less damage for Seismic. So Seismic's pretty boned. Ward is niche, Dancing Arrow. So a lot of this stuff was in the manifesto. Mind of Matter, Fortification, yeah. Manifesto. Minion balance in manifesto. Minions are monsters. Skill Gem and Souls, Detonate Dead. Fire Trap, we saw this. Trap, Seismic Trap. Explosive Arrow, this is just the 3% to 5%, yep. Okay. So, big nerf on Seismic Trap there. Seismic Trap's probably dead. Cast on skills, Sniper's Mark. Hydra skill, underperforming skills. This was all in the manifesto. Awaken Hex Tech. Okay, yeah, there's no Nightblade. Alright, guys. Nice. No Nightblade nerfs. Lightning Strike just got the additional hit nerfed, which is kind of fun. That was really nice to have, but it was kind of a broken mechanic, right? Let's be honest. It's still doing a lot more damage than just about any other skill. Because really, when you're looking at PoB damage, your Lightning Strike damage wasn't calculated correctly anyway. So it's still fine. Miscellaneous brittle ailments. Did they change this? They look the same, right? Oh, okay. So. Shock is additive now. Reservation efficiency, they kept this the same, right? Removed. Okay. Kind of a bummer there. This is still dead. You got a new crit multi-lightning skill where arcing blows used to be. Just glancing through here, is there anything that looks too interesting? Cannot use recombinators on mirror items anymore. Gift card changes. Atlas changes. Okay. What we're looking for here, that matted back to the Atlas. I don't see Lighthouse. Fuck. Dude, why do they hate Lighthouse so much? Damn, I thought for sure we'd get Lighthouse back. What did they move? Did they move Crimson Temple? Crimson Temple, man, Crimson Temple's still in. Everyone's gonna be farming Crimson Temple still. Okay. No Lighthouse though. Silos back in, Stagnation's back in. Any good ones here? Not really. Belfry, everybody hates that map. Shit, a lot of shitty maps are back in here. Crater, haven't seen that one in a while. Phantasmagoria, Pen, Plateau. Some meh. I like Shrine. Shrine's a cool map. A lot of people don't like it though. What did they remove? Tower, Toxic Sewer, Tropical Island is out. That's kind of sad. Glacier is out. But it doesn't really matter as much. Burial Chambers is out. Beach is out. City Square is out. Wow, they removed a lot of good ones. Okay. So I gotta say, guys, bug fixes. Let me just. No Nightblade changes. We're good. Lightning Strike. Okay, I'm just looking down here. Is Reddit on fire yet? Is Reddit on fire yet, guys? TFT is gone. This guy doesn't know like all the other shit that you use TFT for. Just like that. Apparently some guy had this exact ring as a unique item. Except it wasn't even as good. Trickster rework, recombinators. Okay, it's not on fire yet. It's not quite on fire yet. Ellis dodged other than the double hit. Yeah, the double hit's like a little sad, but it was kind of like, Yeah, we were a little too strong because of that. Plus, like, you kind of had to position your character like in the right place a lot of the time, and half the time, you know, you weren't really in the right place anyway, and you're still doing tons of damage, so it doesn't matter that much. You still have Vol Lightning Strike too, which is fucking ridiculous. So, Vol Lightning Strike is one of the strongest fucking skills in the game. It's like if you're not doing double hits because of where you're standing, you're gonna be doing like 2.5 times the damage anyway with Vol Lightning Strike, so it doesn't matter. It was awkward, yeah. It was awkward to use anyway, so I don't really care that it's gone. Plus, half the time you weren't doing it, right? Because you were like, oh, am I standing in the right place? Oh, the monster's already half dead. I guess I won't move anyway. Okay, it's dead. You know? It was like, it was kind of whatever. Once you got enough damage, it didn't really matter. I mean, it was nice on things like Simulacrum for bursting down like coasts and stuff to really get in the right place to make it go faster, but you didn't need it. You didn't need it at all. How are the nerves now? Pretty good, man. Pretty good. I'm alright. I'm happy that I'll be able to play Lightning Strike again. I'm curious. I don't know what these harvest changes are. I need somebody else to tell me. The information they've given on harvest is, like, seems weird. So, all I want to know now is it still possible to craft 12-link claws? Because that's going to be my whole goal this league. Because they've kind of fucked over a few things. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. Okay. Yeah, no, how's everybody else feeling? How you guys doing? Everybody else having a good time right now? Yeah, Seismic might still be fine. Looks like everything's, I mean, really not many changes to skills, the skill gem meta, except for like minions. Guess Headhunter will be 80 divines this league. 30 plus the Interesting. I'm curious what this, where the harvest changes again. Defense balance, midi balance. Monster changes. Where was the harvest changes again? Harvest. Filler crafts and some ones with determinist outcomes that were incredibly RNG gated before, and removed a bunch of filler crafts and some ones with deterministic outcomes that were incredibly RNG gated before. So this. Hold on. Augment. So this is under harvest changes. But this is so this is Leo's Betrayal Research Safe House Crafting Bench Rewards. Okay. So this is Betrayal, but it's under the harvest changes. I'm so confused about this. I don't know, man. I need to go ask Path and Math if crafting 12-link claws is still gonna be viable. Oh. I'm pretty sure it is. Alright, well, all in all, kind of boring, honestly. New League looks pretty cool. Patch notes are okay. Seismic Trap is the only thing that got nerfed, basically, right? Seismic got like a 30% nerf. I don't think it's probably still okay, but there's probably something better. But I don't know. It's kind of odd that these are the only two things they nerfed. So you also can't use Vol Clarity here to bypass the 0 mana cost of like a Blessing or something. Alright, those are the only balance changes to skill gems. Alright guys, well, I'm gonna get off. This has been fun. I got some stuff to do. I gotta make some videos and stuff now. And yeah. I will see you guys. I might be back on tonight. I don't know. Actually, I probably gotta work on a whole bunch of videos and shit for YouTube. But alright, it's been fun hanging out, homies. Pretty kind of excited about the league. I think the changes were kind of meh in the end. I do like Super Juice stuff got hit, so it's not as mandatory to do anymore. At least it's a lot harder to do, and not everyone's gonna be doing that, and it's gonna make various other farming methods more interesting and viable because they don't have to compete with the best farming method in the game, which is Super Juice mapping, which is probably still gonna be around. Magic finding is gonna be really huge, but other than that, not too bad. Not too bad. Lightning Strike Nightblade's still alive. But alright, I will see you homies later. Look out for the YouTube videos. I'll be hanging out in Discord and stuff, doing stuff. I just gotta start working on some YouTube stuff. So, see you guys later.